Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. And if you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, talking of Patreon, I'm going to make a concerted effort to actually shout the people out who do support me on this show. So in case you weren't aware, this show is entirely supported by the people who watch it. And a large chunk of that does come from Patreon. So Alistair, who else we got? Chow Yun Cat, Christina Barker, Dank, David Wayne Foster, shout out to all of you. Jeronism, Kirsten Smith, Matt, No Proof, shout out to you also. And is that Renee? Also a shout out to you. So as I say, this will get more and more slick as time progresses, but after speaking to my webmaster, he pointed out that one of the main means at my disposal to actually generate more revenue for this channel, and as I say, this channel is entirely supported by the people who watch it, that is one means at my disposal that I'm not utilising fully. And I have been getting payouts from Patreon, and it's certainly contributed towards certain aspects, technical aspects of the show, and it's running. So I am entirely grateful to everybody who supported me on Patreon. Shout out to all of you. Now, we are actually joined by a few people in the Google Plus Hangouts on air. I'll just have a quick check, see if we've got anybody with us in Discord as well. No, not at the moment. So I'll raise the mic on, I believe, Ranty Flat Earth and 10th Man, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the first live show.
Round about essentially here, essentially this spot, and I started filming these wind turbines. I put a bunch of images together. I stitched it together because it was on a video. So the first turbine is almost 21 miles. In fact, it's 21 miles away. The very first turbine you come to, 21 miles away. Now I'm at sea level when I'm filming this, right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And all of these were seen. All of these, even these turbines here, these ones in the background, this Ormondy, were all seen, and they were all with the blades outside of the water, right? All of the blades weren't splashing the water. Now, what that told me was that I'm looking across the nap of the tide from this location for some reason. Say it from there. When I film from this direction, say down here, and I'm looking out that way, it's a different angle. You know, I'm looking in because the tide moves in this way, forward and back. Yeah, forward and back.
Yeah.
Forward and back. So as I'm looking out this way, I'm looking across this shoaling that's going on. But from this location down here, I'm looking across it. As the tide moves in, back and forth this way, I'm looking across it rather than over it, you know?
Yeah.
And it just seemed from that little spot that down here, from that little spot, I was able to see so much. And it wasn't even the bestest of days, I'll be honest. It was just a sunny day, but there was waves. You know, there was waves. You know, it wasn't like there was no waves. So tomorrow morning, there's no swell, no wind. It's going to be sunny.
Yeah, that should be good.
And I'm going to go down there. I'm going to get there for 5:30, and I'm going to look out. The tide will be at an equilibrium about 6 o'clock, so there'll be no forward and back. And I'm just going to film these bad boys over here because it's 20 miles to the first one. So let's do the curve calcs on that. So Google.
You and your bloody curve calcs.
Well, you know.
Got to beg the question.
Ranty, it would seem like you're at low tide level instead of seashore level.
I'm still looking across a body of water 20 miles long.
No, I know that. I'm just saying it's even better because you're out there when it's low tide. You're not even on the shore where most people normally start their numbers.
Yeah. Well, here we go. We've got 187 feet at least missing. So that's, the blades will be in the water at that distance, right? So at that height.
Yeah.
So anything that the blades are above, and I can, if you give me 15 minutes, I'll have a look and I'll find that image that I've got that I took from the same location, and I'll show you what it was like just on a day when there was still waves. Let me find it. So I'm hoping tomorrow to do this.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
Go to Master B and check out the famous Ranty Vision.
Ranty Vision.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Hey, gringo.
Hey, Sleep Tomorrow.
Hello.
Ranty Vision. Yeah, but it's on the telly, unicorn. Yeah, but it's on the telly, satellite. Yeah, but it's on the telly, moon landing. Yeah, but it's on the telly, flat Earth map.
It's actually a really good point. If it's
That's
on the
brilliant.
telly, it's true, right?
If it's on the telly.
Hey, look what I filmed yesterday, Nath. Tony, look at this. That's not that. Is that the
Oh,
video?
that's pretty one.
Ranty, do you think you'll ever get a better video than that one where you had the camera like kind of dug in the hole?
Of course he will. Every video you take ever is going to be... That's why I say it gets annoying when you say, there's so much should be seen. No, there shouldn't. According to that model. That's the model telling you what should and shouldn't be seen. That's nonsense. Every observation is the observation of a flat plane, because we live on a flat plane. So...
Look at that, Nath. That's the tidal bore. I was filming
Yeah,
the
that's
tidal
massive,
bore.
isn't it?
Look at it.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
that shows
it's
how much obstruction could be caused by the incoming bore. That's really good, that, Ranty.
yeah. Obviously, it's disproportionate because although it looks like it's coming up 2 feet with perspective included up his legs, it's not. You know, it's further into the distance, so that probably represents what 6 to 10 feet bulge, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, just look how it ramps up there. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I'm a long way away from this guy. You know, I'm about 4.5 miles away from him. And obviously, my camera was only set to like 4 feet. And
looks like a separate piece of real estate moving in the forefront.
Should have shouted. Maybe he'd have heard you. Did you catch anything?
Good morning, guys.
you'll get an idea now when I
Hey, Paul.
zoom back out just how far away this is.
That,
But you can
those rocks or little mountaintops look like the outer ring of an Omega watch turning.
What looks like the outer ring of an Omega watch.
I mean, the way Ranty's going across, it looks like two things are moving in different directions. It's awesome.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good morning.
Hey.
There we
You
go.
okay?
And what's interesting is you get
Hey, Paul.
to see the relative calm here.
Yeah. Where there's very little going on because there's not a great big drop off with a load of water below it, right?
That's beautiful, man.
That's a fucking shit. Is that actually water or is that Mirage?
Water.
That's water.
Look, you
It
can
doesn't
see
look
what
real,
it
does
is. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's probably miraging going on as well. Although I can't actually distinguish any, if I'm honest. There you go, on the right, between that whatever it is sticking.
Yeah,
up
there
in
does
the
look like there's a
water.
bit of reflection going on.
Yeah, a little bit.
No, but this is all solid. If you follow it, but if I go frame by frame,
There you
you
go.
can see that's all the water there, and over here it just it changes direction, and it's kind of, I don't know, it just creates
Exactly.
this mirror effect.
Exactly, that's what I was referring to as she's panned out. That thing that I was trying to talk about was that thing sticking up. I just don't know what it is.
But
Not even
over
on
this
frame.
side, this is
Can you
this is
do?
where
Sorry,
the-
Ranty. Can you do just one more frame? It's not quite on my capture. No, out, not in. There we go. Ah, too much. There we go. Perfect. So just circle what we're talking. There we go. Excellent. This is epic.
Yeah, so there's the Mirage starting. Well, it's more of I don't know what it is actually, but it's blocking off this water coming in. It hides it. That's really cool, actually.
It is really cool.
You can see the water's definitely coming in. It's at there's a set height to it, and then it disappears. It vanishes. It vanishes into this mirage. That's
Who'd have thought
cool.
we'd have been so up close and personal with the actual effects that we observe in the world 2 years ago? Certainly, I didn't expect to be being presented with such glorious imagery 2 years ago.
Can't wait to see the drone in action.
Oh yes, know me.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Get
Did
my
I give
little
you any
hands
money?
on that.
Did I actually contribute to that?
Yes, you did. I think.
Oh, good. It's jolly good. Forgot.
Was this on the telly?
Is this on the telly?
Well, it might be on the telly, but a lot of people do watch the show on the telly, so to speak.
Do you know what's funny? When Paul said that, then was that on the telly?
It was chocolate.
Obviously, you can. So, who said it?
Chocolate.
Chocolate said
I
that.
did. Yeah, I did.
Fuck me, you sound terrible. Why are you
Yeah,
on a
we've got
different mic?
we've got weak ass vanilla today rather than strong ass
I
chocolate.
actually was trying to do a mic check to see how this mic does it sound good.
It sounds terrible. It sounds like Paul.
Oh shit.
That's how bad it is.
It
I've
sounds
turned
like
you
you're
up.
in the toilet, but the toilet's down the alleyway and it's miles away.
I've turned you up. You're clear enough. We can hear what you're saying. We can make out what you're saying, so don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, but if you're being compared to Paul, that puts you into context, right?
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I don't have my good mic today. So.
You could tell that Chocolate, not Paul, you could tell that Chocolate was using an English phraseology then because he's not native to that use of that word, telly. Because I said yesterday, it's like when the Americans are using the word twat, they don't pronounce it twat, they pronounce it twat.
It's because that's how they spell it. It's a different word.
Yeah, but they pronounce it with an O rather than an A.
Yeah, but that's what it is. TWOT.
No, it's not.
Oh, TWAT.
Really? You spell it with an A?
Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah,
twat.
yeah, we do.
Oh,
That's
wow.
THWAT.
No,
No, that's
not
T.
H. God, get out of
Right,
here.
if Rancy's a twat, it's TWAT.
That's right. But I'm not a twat.
Yeah, but they say, but the American.
That's right.
I just assumed that twat was an Americanism that was a difference in spelling. You know, it's slang anyway. I'm sure it's made its way
No,
in.
what they're doing is they're using our word but mispronouncing it.
What?
Instead of twats, they're calling it twat.
That's just
If
silly.
you say what backwards, it's twat.
No, it's not.
Anyway, my point was that when the Americans try and like say an English phrase and that like to be like one of us, you can tell it's like it's not their native tongue because they say twat instead of twat, and then Chocolate just said telly, and the way he said telly wasn't the way we say it. It's cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like mum and mom. Like it's spelled for us. It's spelled MUM.
Not for me.
What?
I
Say,
call my mum.
garage, and
I
they
call my
say
mum
garage.
MOM. Every card that you get from Hallmark in England is MUM, which isn't how I spell it.
Well, you're the only English person that does.
It seems that way.
Mom's the word.
Mom's the
Coming
word.
through to the hangout.
Yeah,
Testing,
mom's the
testing.
word.
1 2 1 2. Check. Coming through. Might
Thanks,
working.
Bez.
Good morning, Spurs.
Speaking of Paul, how do I sound? Do
Oh,
I
you
sound
can
like
hear me,
chocolate now?
That's right.
No, you
Next
sound better
Tuesday,
than
Paul.
Chocolate.
Next Tuesday sometime. Maybe lunch.
Paul sounds better than Chocolate. Chocolate sounds like he's in the drains or something. Chocolate, what have you done? What have you changed?
I got another headset.
No, it sounds shit, that one.
I left the good one at home. Everything that's Bluetooth just sucks. The only one that sounds good is the one that actually connects to the phone. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So that one I don't have today. So. But let me try my other Bluetooth. I always got 100 headphones on me. So hold on.
Honest to God, Chocolate, you sound like a 1 out of 10 compared to how you normally sound.
Well, I
Paul.
used to sound like crap, so I got the new headphones. So now I'm just back to normal crap. That's the problem.
Hey, Paul, you know when Chocolate... Did you hear me saying that Chocolate sounded like Paul before?
Yes, I did. I heard that.
That's okay, just checking. I didn't want that one getting lost.
Don't worry, Anthony. He doesn't find it appalling.
Funny. Well, if you knew how much I have to be mobile around here and then still try to listen and engage, you'd understand why I use my headset. So I would love to use my nice mic, but I can't. Don't interact.
Okay. It's all in good fun, man.
Why
We
not?
can take the piss out
Why
of
can't you use your good mic? I don't get it. Good mic.
Well, because right now I'm actually cleaning the kitchen, and I'm usually having to chase Lily down, and I'm usually Lily's wanting to go outside, so I'm running around like a chicken with a head cut off. And if you holler at me, I have to run back to try to get, say, hey, wait a minute, I'm listening, hang on, So there's usually a delay if I use my other mic.
Hey, Ranty.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Ranty. How northern are you?
I was just on Discord saying hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me coming through on Discord?
Yeah, I can. We can hear you on Discord, Spurs.
Oh, you could hear me. I don't think it was.
Yeah, we
could.
hear
There's a bit of a lag though, I think.
No, there's
But
no
yeah, I
lag.
just wanted to
Look,
bring up the.
why is
the
it that everyone who joins the show feels they need to tell me how to produce it? Just don't worry about it.
Ranty. Spurs thinks that you were harsh on him yesterday when you were criticising him for not knowing about the citation he was reading from. And when he rang me and he moaned about you moaning at him, I actually agreed with you and said, Spurs, he was right. You should have read the document before you cited it.
No, but the thing was, you've said, so I looked at it. I mean, that was the first I heard of it, and
then he presented it as a flat Earth proof. He hadn't even read it, and they went, "Well, what's flat Earth proof in it?" Well, you can read it. It's like, no, we're asking you. What is it?
Well, I skimmed through it. I looked through it, and I saw what I needed to see, which was.
So Spurs, what we'll learn from this is that you read the document before you present it, right?
Right. That's the most baller statement I've ever heard from you, Spurs. That's brilliant.
No,
This is why we love you, Spurs.
You gave me the
synopsis.
What happened.
Yeah, and when you come to present it, you made a hash of it because you hadn't read it. He was like, "Oh, Spurs."
Yes, but I had read it, and I looked at the part where
you hadn't.
So, what part didn't I read?
Most of it.
Now he wants you to tell him what he didn't research. This is brilliant. You have turned into a complete baller. We still love you. Spurs is ace.
Spurs just wants to be a baller.
Should we get a little spoon and feed it to you, Spurs? I don't even know what you're talking
real
about, by the way.
quick, does this sound better?
Yeah, that is better. Yes.
All right, cool. I know which one is crap now.
Yeah, put it in the bin. See, I didn't put it this way, Chocolate. I didn't even recognize you. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, that's not good at all. Some headphones are just better to listen to and not to speak in, because they make the headphones good, but the mic is always garbage. So
yeah, just pay once and get something decent, and then just look after it. That's the best thing to do. Get a blue. One of the blue microphones are really good.
He's got to wear it.
Oh yeah, shit. So it's got to be. You just got to suck it and see, haven't you? See what sounds good.
Best is it an Apple phone or an Android phone?
Android.
Bummer. Oh well, that can't be helped.
Well done. Well done.
Hey, Spurs.
Yeah, I don't mess with Apple.
Yes.
I dedicated 4 pictures to Ranty. I just sent a picture to Master B for you, and I mean it, love. It was so funny. So you got my little imagination on some artwork for you.
It's on the tally.
No, go below that.
Oh, the one before. Okay. I feel your suffering. I see flat Earth ghosts. Right.
But it was on the telly.
Ranty, is it hot and muggy where you are right now?
It's warm.
And muggy?
I wouldn't say muggy.
Oh man, it's dead humid where I am.
Mind you, I've been working outside. I've only just got back about half an hour ago.
You know, this is the first show in ages where I've actually been on for like the start.
Yay!
Yay! Yay! Feels like I'm one of the pastors in the church again now. It's like rather than one of the wannabes outside. Hey, Chocolate, what did you think of my my Brenda demolition yesterday? Well, actually, forget Brenda. What about the Bob bit beforehand about Bob preaching pseudoscience as science?
I don't know. I mean, what can I say?
He claims he's doing
Censor.
science, but doesn't realise he's not doing science because he refuses to acknowledge that you've got to give the independent variable a bit of a wiggle. Come on, Bob. It's not hard, this stuff. We've learned it now. It's you that's behind, not us.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you? Then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, which I strongly advise you all do, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Spurs Chemo, Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, Paul, Chocolate Saying, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people on Discord. Very good to have you all.
Good
Good
morning.
afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good morning.
Howdy doody.
Good day.
Hello. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Fuck all.
No,
On
sorry.
the telly.
Of course there is.
What you
Sorry.
got, Brenda?
What was that about, Brenda?
Not on
Brenda
the
said,
telly.
of course, there are signs of Earth curves.
On the telly. On the telly.
Brenda, where's the evidence of Earth
Spurs
curve?
agrees with me. Spurs agreed with me.
Brenda, where's the signs of Earth curve?
On the telly.
Objects disappearing over the horizon.
That's objects disappearing over the horizon.
That is
Yeah,
a
that's-
sign,
that's
but
not
that is a
curvature.
sign. You asked for a sign. That is a sign.
Brenda, Tim's got a list of about 25 reasons why objects disappear over the horizon. How do you know it's the Earth curvature that's causing it?
We don't.
You're not Brenda. Brenda.
I don't know.
And
I don't know. I haven't seen Tim's work. I'm not talking about him. I'm saying that
Hello.
objects disappearing over the horizon is a sign, is evidence.
Right.
It's
my
not
response
evidence,
was, Tim,
Brenda. It's a
What?
sign. It's not evidence.
Well, it's
a
evidence.
sign.
It's evidence. Of course, it's
Brenda,
evidence.
address my point. Tim's got about 25 other reasons why objects appear to get obstructed as they go towards the horizon. I'm asking you, how do you know that it's the Earth's curvature that's causing it?
I didn't say that. I said that objects
The
disappearing
boats go
over the horizon is evidence
Evidence of what?
of curvature. Of course, it is.
So you're asserting that the cause of objects disappearing over the horizon, as you phrase it, is Earth curve. How have you validated that cause?
I didn't say that.
You said,
I said objects disappearing over the curve.
right,
is
Brenda.
evidence.
Brenda, what we don't need is you repeating the same thing 4 times. So we have a follow-up question based on what we have heard you say now 3 times. I'd prefer you didn't assert it a 4th. So Anthony's asked you how you have discounted other causes, and I'm asking how you have validated your cause, Earth curve. How have you validated that is the question.
I didn't say anything about cause. I didn't say anything about validation. I said that objects going over the horizon.
I heard
disappearing
it
from the
3
bottom up
times. Yeah,
is
you're
evidence-
just
is
asserting the same
evidence.
thing now 4 times. We heard the first 4 times. Now what we're saying is objects disappearing over the horizon is simply objects disappearing over the horizon. You assert
Yeah.
that that's caused by Earth curve. So you have indeed asserted the cause of that which you have detailed
I
as
didn't
objects
say it was
disappearing.
the cause.
This is called the rebuttal to your 4 times of making the same claim. It doesn't mean the globe head mute button needs to be used. I'll talk over you when you say the same thing 4 times and ignore all rebuttals. You won't talk over me when I make a unique and new statement. That's just the globe head mute button. Now, I'm addressing that you have not validated that which you presume is the cause of this effect. The effect being objects disappearing over the horizon. Cause Earth curve according to you. Now, you don't have to deny it because you haven't strung it in the same method I have. It's irrelevant. You assert the cause of things disappearing over the horizon is Earth curve. The question is A, have you discounted all other causes? And B, how have you validated that which you claim is the cause, that being Earth curve? If you deny it or restate your position for a fifth...
My patient was asked a very simple question about
Spurs, I'm talking to Brenda. If you
Yeah, but you're
restate your position...
badgering
Yeah,
the
Spurs,
patient.
that means shut up. Brenda, if you restate your position a 5th time, or don't address how you've either validated the curve or discounted the other causes, then I will shut you up until we get to another question.
Well, to begin with, science doesn't do verificationism. That's not science. That's pseudoscience.
That's not the
So
question
you're
I
wrong
asked
about
you.
that.
That's not the question I asked. Did I ask
Yes, it
anything
is.
about science? I asked
Yes,
how...
you did.
No, I did not. I asked how
Yes, you
you
did.
validated that which you presumed was the cause, that's Earth curve. I didn't mention the word science once. Now you're strawmanning me and telling me what science does. I've asked you how you validate your cause of disappearing things over the horizon, that being Earth curve, which you presumed is the cause. How have you validated it? Not what science does. That's not what I asked.
Yeah, it is. Science isn't verificationist.
All right, let's shut her up. That's not the question I asked. Let's shut Brenda up.
that's
Clearly,
called
she
logical.
is stupid. That's not. Did I ask anything about science? Anybody else on the panel?
No.
Right, so she's strawmanning me, and she's given the same repetition 5 times. She's got nothing to offer. That's not a demonstration of Earth curve. It's a demonstration that your fundamentalist religious belief of Earth curve has been asserted as the presumed cause of an effect you have observed. It means nothing. It's not a proof of Earth curve. You haven't validated it. Telling me what science doesn't do isn't validating that which you presume caused that effect, Earth curve in this instance, nor does it mean you've discounted any other option of things which could also cause things to disappear into the horizon. You've just asserted your fundamentalist religious belief, and I'm sick of it. I don't want Brenda saying the same thing 5 times and ignoring every single rebuttal, using the globe head mute button over the top of me every time I address anything she says. Not interested. Fuck off, you stupid fundy bitch. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
No, no, no.
No,
No.
Oh, and you were typing like a beast before I had to mute you.
You muted
Sorry?
Ranty by mistake, I think.
I thought it was Ranty, so I muted Ranty, and then I thought it was Spurs, so I muted Spurs, and I realised the only one was left was me, and it weren't me typing, so it had to be you, Arwin.
Excellent. Well, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you all to mute yourself. So, no, just kidding.
So any scientific evidence of gravity? Notice I used the word science that time.
Ooh.
See, Chocolate sent me a
Yeah,
link.
it's a tough
before.
one.
Chocolate sent me a link before for another citation that references gravity not to be a force.
Well,
And I remind myself when I listen to Jose's channel and I hear them talking of gravity as a force, I realize that they are deliberately pissing it in our face. They will carry on regardless that gravity is a force. They will literally dismiss current science and they will preach old science just so they can keep hold of Cavendish. And no matter what, they will always claim that gravity in some way is a force. Brenda, is gravity a force?
She's not involved in this conversation anymore.
no, she gone.
Oh, was she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
going to involve Brenda. I'm not going to have her assert the same thing 5 times in the face of me addressing it and then ignore everything we says. It's just pointless having these conversations with her. You know,
That's
asserting.
let me just-
We've
let me-
known. Sorry, just want to round this out. We've known since 2015 that fundy globehead zealots assert that things going into the distance is caused by Earth curve. Now we're at the point that we ask them, how have you validated that cause? How have you invalidated all of these other things which we've gone and observed? How have you done that? And they go, it's proof you don't know what science is. That's the rebuttal that she gave us. She's a waste of time.
Uh-huh.
Let me just address people in Nathan's chat in relation to people that go into Jose's chat. No, I like Jose. I like Jose. He's a nice guy. He's
Hold
wrong,
on.
but he's
Can
a
we
nice
can
guy.
we get through housekeeping before we discuss Jose?
Yeah,
and
I
Chan?
had some remark to make about gravity, okay?
Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead, Arwin.
Right. So the thing about gravity and the scientific method is, yeah, you got to very manipulate it. And in order to do that, first, there has to be a consensus and an actual piece of data on what actually is the cause of gravity, according to them. Because they're assuming a force, but at the same time, they don't actually know what really causes it, except for the older assumption. But since the bending of space-time thing, the cause is actually more elusive than it has ever falsely been presumed. And the issue is they're still just completely touching in the dark, assuming there is a gravity, but not actually know of what really causes it in order to be able to manipulate the independent variable to prove it. I'm done.
A lot of words to describe a force that's not a force.
Brown.
So, no evidence, Nathan, for gravity.
Perfect.
Aberration.
You
Any
had to
evidence
stick
the
one
dis-
in at the end, or what? Yeah.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No.
No way to measure it. It's a light in the sky.
Yeah, I would like to see a confirmed measurement to actually prove there is a distance to the sun. Still curious. Can you approach it? Is it like a lamp up there?
You could approach it. It's a light out there, but you can't measure it because there's no way of measuring it.
Okay, I'm
But
going to shout,
Venus.
Be evasive.
But Venus.
I'm gonna shout out this super chat, so I'll do my best to not butcher what you've put. So shout out to Drunken Bullet 411 for the super chat. I am, in brackets, cough cough, baller by Indoct, of course, but Brenda can just fack off. Okay, thank you very much for the super chat, Drunken Bullet. Really appreciate your support. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Yes,
Go.
it's on the telly.
Is this going to be your new answer? It's on the telly. Molten iron core is on the telly, is it? I don't think so, Ranty. I think you're wrong on that one. I've never seen a molten iron core at the centre of the presupposed spherical Earth on the telly. What did you see it on the telly on?
It's colored molten.
Cartoon.
Cartoon?
It was a cartoon, yeah.
Guys, there's a movie called The Core, so I've seen it on the telly.
Fair enough. There you go. Chocolate saved you. I'm wrong. You're right. Fair enough. It's on the telly. Bloody molten iron core, apparently. Programming. What is that background noise?
Ranty, turn your speakers down, Ranty.
Not me.
It is. I can see your levels are bouncing.
Or just go on mute. Not permanently, of course, Ranty. Don't take offence.
No.
Everybody's a victim.
It was somebody else.
Any evidence of the R value?
Yes.
No.
If you
Oh,
click
hang
on
on.
my screen, please.
If I click on your screen?
Yeah.
You're rude.
There you have it.
Beautiful, Alwyn. Beautiful.
It's the ultimate evidence.
Literally the globe heads.
Yeah. Drongos. It's like with The Walking Dead, isn't
It's
it?
what's gonna remain after this is all over.
Zombies going, ah.
Listen, let me speak to the audience for a minute on the evidence of R itself. I heard Conspiracy Cats. Someone told me to go and check out Conspiracy Cats Hangout with Jose. And he's still preaching the P wave and the S wave for proof that we live on a sphere and there's literally no other way that you can interpret what them P waves and S waves are telling you. Guess what? Subject to interpretation, mate. We can all interpret it any way we want. I can interpret it as unicorn farts. So let's just forget about that P wave and S wave argument because it's nonsense. P waves and S waves are subject to interpretation.
Any evidence?
Sounds like
the
ES
house
waves.
waves.
Is there some more?
What?
Against
One more. We got one more house.
One more.
One more. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
No,
Yeah.
it's technically impossible. You can't try
Actually,
that
the other day, Dr. John D. claimed a tornado.
Cool, turbulence. That's really nice. But for turbulence, You gotta have gas pressure first, and for gas pressure, you gotta have a container. So that's really nice. Gradient, turbulence.
Well, not only that,
ooh.
it's the opposite. It's the opposite situation. It's containing a lower pressure system, actually giving rise to it.
Yeah, that's lovely. Where do we get the gas pressure
Yeah.
from in the first instance?
Yeah, I was gonna just ask that.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know
You
either.
skip that part.
Yeah, if
Can I
people don't
address
already
Nathan's
realise.
audience now? Now
Sorry,
we've
go ahead.
finished housekeeping. Can I address Nathan's audience, please?
Yes, go ahead, Anthony. My bad.
Somebody stop playing with your microphone. You're making a lot of noise. Okay, so Jose JG Gonzalez, nice guy. We all like him. He's wrong, but we generally like him. Anybody on our side that joins Jose's panel, just ask 2 questions, and if they don't concede either point, just walk out, because they refuse to back down on 2 points, and they need to back down on them because they're preaching nonsense. They need to back down on gravity being a force, because we know it's not a force. We know that you can think of it as a force, but it's not one. And they need to back down on Einstein superseding Newton. If Einstein doesn't supersede Newton, then they can keep Cavendish. So let's not let them keep Cavendish. Demand that supersedes means replaced. And if they won't concede that point, just walk out, because they're pushing nonsense to their own audience and misleading people. So the questions are, does Einstein... the first question is gravity a force? If they don't say no, then leave. And the second question is, does supersede mean replace? And if they don't say yes, then leave, because they're just preaching nonsense.
Well, even though it means it, it actually doesn't replace it. It fills in another part of the concept and then claims to replace it, but not replacing it actually, but taking it away and not replacing it.
Replace what?
Nathan,
Newtonian concept of gravity.
What is that replacing?
It replaces it with nothing and then
Oh.
proceeds to fill in a sub-cause in the speculative world. That's
So
the weird
nothing
thing. It's
is
just taking it
replacing-
away, really. It's
So nothing is replacing nothing. Copy that.
well, but a claim, a conceptual claim first, is replaced with something that doesn't actually replace it. That's the issue.
Nathan, I've noticed with Arwin that we seem to be backsliding a couple of months.
No, we're not.
He seems to
You
be
just have a lot of trouble paying attention to when I talk about this kind of stuff, which is
seems
kind
to
of
be
complex.
regressing back into the
just going to say at this point.
No.
I'm just going to say at this point, right? You've
No,
dragged me
I'm
in-
actually progressing. I'm
You're
getting
totally triggered,
more
Arwen.
grip on what this all is, what is actually happening.
Seems to be contrarian rather than progressing.
Stop dragging me into your arguments, by the way.
I take it all. I take it all.
Just let me get
and
this
I
one
try to
3
make
words
sense
in,
of it.
Arwin, then I'll stop interrupting over every word. So just stop dragging me into your arguments, Anthony.
Not my argument. It's just an observation.
Yeah, but you dragged me into it.
I know, but I noticed when Brenda yesterday, she asked a question, and the question was the density of the medium the independent variable? And me and you both said yes, and Alan said no, it wasn't. And I was like,
No,
"Ow."
hold on. No. Because I heard that the independent variable was the density of the water, and that would be incorrect. But you basically corrected right after saying it was medium, so I might have heard it wrong, but that was basically the only issue.
We're watching you, Arwin.
Yeah. Oh, I happen to wear all black, so good luck with that.
Have you a samurai sword drop down your trousers as well?
Well, if I would, I wouldn't share that publicly, now would I?
So any morons think we're on a ball? We need to have a baller in. Bring
No,
Brenda.
well, I've got something to probably discuss. So you guys wonder why I still question for the ball earthers or whatever. Yeah, I understand the earth is flat and whatnot, but what troubles me is the fact that we seem to have worked something out that all of the scientists, the universities, all of these institutions, everybody else, they are not seeing this. I'm not saying that they can't work it out, but what we're dealing with here, once you're saying, okay, we know it's flat, we understand it's flat, that shows that I don't know, is this like an intelligence? Are we more wiser? Do we have wisdom? How do we deal with so much knowledge and it's like it's a bit too much to bear, right? I mean, how does one cope knowing that when you look at professors, that these professors have lost their minds? They are completely lost with knowledge and information. They've got it wrong, and this is what we have to deal with, right? Or have to kind of consider is that we
look at conspiracy cat Spurs. He's a physics teacher, and he can't get round the gas pressure next to a vacuum. He can't get past it. He's got rhetoric, he's got stories, he's got logical explanation, but he's got no evidence. But he still pushes it. You're right. The guy's lost his head.
Yeah, but how do you get your head around the fact there is a teacher, and we are like, what are we? Are we? How do you describe it in terms of, understanding, knowledge, intelligence? What is this? We understand things that they don't. So are they stupid? Are they blind?
They're getting paid.
No,
not everybody. All of the professional so-called experts who continue to think it's a ball.
No, we can think in 3D. They can only think in 2D. We have a broader, scope for investigation, and they don't. They're very close.
But why? How is that? Do we have like a superpower? What is this? People would say this is like, again, I don't want to, but this is odd how we're able to see
our
this.
superpower is the ability to critically think for ourselves, Spurs. That's what it is.
Know.
If you want to call it like that,
hold on,
if that's what you want to call it.
It's very normal. It's very simple. It's easy to understand. We're like, you just think outside the box. Just open your mind. But when a ball earther hears this, or the rest of the world, they're just like scratching their heads, going, these flat earthers. Have you heard them? How they, So again, I'm trying to not make a disconnect. I'm trying to show that there's a broader picture here. And you're saying that we are more intelligent than the rest of the world. That for me is
Shout out to Nick. But nobody's saying that we're more intelligent. It's just that some people will be able to see this and some people will not. It doesn't mean that somebody's smarter than me because I can see it.
What's it called? What it must have a name.
I don't know. Cognitive dissonance, denial. I mean, call it what you want.
We're just wired differently. That's it.
Not just wired differently.
Yeah, it is.
Deeper than that.
Yes, it is. That's
different walks of life. It's different people. So if you're wired differently, that means that all of your family should be wired the same way. Why did you come out wired differently and the people around you are not wired in the same way? What's going on? What are we seeing that they are not?
Because it is in response to events. It's like a switch thing that can happen. And you just, especially in periods of turmoil when the media starts to grab a lot of attention or suddenly rules are imposed for whatever reason, then people make choices and they switch. And it happens pretty suddenly and unexpectedly with some people.
Spurs.
That's how the 9/11 truthers came to arrive. Remember? People that were perfectly fine with the state and everything.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. 10th Man's been trying to get an interruption in about 3 minutes, and then Ranty's got something presented. So do you want to go ahead? Hopefully you'll round this out, 10th Man.
Sure. Spurs, they see what we see. They see everything we see. But as Chocolate said, something happens where they can't take that step forward and challenge what's been taught to them for years. He used the word cognitive dissonance. It could be other things in addition to that. I have had one-on-one discussions with people who see what you see, who see what I see, and they still fight for the ball and the globe. You know what they don't do? You know what? That's an anomaly. I'm going to look into this. Wow, I'm going to investigate this, which is exactly what we all did. And
right, again, most people would say, most of the flat earthers, if it was that easy to recognize, most of the flat earthers only recognized it when YouTube came about. If it wasn't for YouTube, most of the flat earthers would be going along with their merry lives thinking that the earth is a globe. Now, YouTube came along, presented information. People bought this information. So I'm asking, the question is, what are we? How are we able to see?
Did you listen? Did you listen when the evidence?
Before YouTube, 10th Man, did you know it was a flat earth?
I've always doubted the model they gave me. You heard me say 1 or 2 shows ago when I saw it, it clicked. It's something.
So where were you 5-6 years ago when this was being debated? Where were you?
First, I'm talking when I saw it for the first time, something clicked.
What do you mean for the
Something
first time?
Yep.
You saw it all your life, a flat Earth. You saw a
right.
flat water.
That's why I listen. I'm not in the business of proving the Earth when I have to make a living. Okay, so I never cared about the subject other than I doubt it. But when I saw the evidence, I said I knew it. Now I've got something to go on because now it's in the forefront, and that's when it captured me.
Okay, so you have something to go on, and they might say you have YouTube to go on. And now these people would say, okay,
can I say something?
Hang on, Paul. Spurs, you make a lousy psychiatrist if you keep interrupting people.
I can barely hear you, 10th man. You're very quiet.
I'm very quiet.
Yeah, a bit.
It sounds like, Spurs, that you're hoping that he's going to say something that you've already got in your head that you want him to say.
No,
until he says what you want him to say, you're going to keep asking him the same question.
I'm not asking him anything. He's asking me the question.
Spurs, everyone, and I'm going to let Paul finish and round off the show, Nathan, if that's all right with you. I'll just say one last thing. They see what we see, but they don't go where we go. Go ahead, Paul.
Hold on. Before you go ahead, Ranty, you've been presenting for about 5-10 minutes now, so I don't know if you want to tell us about what you've got on screen.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. This is... Well, if you want to round up this particular segment and before
Fine,
this...
go ahead, Paul.
All I was going to say is most people, what price are they willing to pay for the truth? And it's talked about they getting paid to do it, which monetary things could be the motivating factor to acknowledge or accept the truth or not. But it's also your framework of your belief system that you've built up. One thing can, if one thing challenges any part of your current belief system, you may not want to accept it because of that. Like when I first got into the conspiracy world, if you'd have talked to me 5 or 6 years ago, I'd have believed NASA, I'd have believed 9/11 was what the news media said. But really, as soon as I looked at 9/11 and I go like, wait a minute, this is not what they said. It was a chain reaction that occurred in my mind. I began to question everything the government was pushing out. I was willing to pay the price on how that began to shatter my preconceived notions. Now, and also the process of that shattering, you also have to rebuild, which means there's a cost involved with that as well. Are you willing to pay that price? To go back and take responsibility, take ownership, take so many things and understanding. And I think a lot of people out there aren't willing to pay the price, whatever that price may be, whether it's monetary, intellectual, belief system. They're not willing to pay the price.
Or they can't pay the price. Or they can't pay the price because they'll just lose their minds over the strain of it.
Well, that's a cost. Their mind could be lost, and that's a cost. Are they willing to pay that price? So we're back to square one. Most people aren't willing to pay that price, I think.
Right. And I think that thanks to this community and the YouTube community that we've basically built, that really helps to relieve a lot of this tension that in the far past made people break their minds under the peer pressure of the entire world.
I think ultimately what happened was the elites over-egged with their confidence. They thought that 9/11 would be able to be swept under the carpet, just like Kennedy and everything else that went in the past, right? That's what they thought would happen. The problem was YouTube was in its infancy. People were just starting to investigate, and that woke a lot of people up. 9 people up. So if you want to go back to a cause as to where this all started, it all started, in my opinion, for me especially, from 9/11, because once you appreciated that they were able to bring those towers down in front of everybody and tell lies to people, you then started to look into and question other things. And of course, one of the biggest things to look at then was the moon landings, because we all had doubts about that. And then obviously, once you realize that the moon landings never took place, it leads you on a journey and you end up on flat Earth. And I think it all stems back from that one incident where they took things too far. They didn't appreciate that people had a lot more cameras. YouTube was available. They didn't understand that technology had changed. They weren't able to just pull something off so massive without it being investigated. They were in the past, but 9/11 was just one step too far.
There's one phrase.
That's right. It was just coming out of the works. Before that, YouTube, like before 9/11, YouTube was almost like the cute cat or dog video platform where you just went to see only that shit. But basically, because of that singular event, it brought so much attention that really made people decide to go and do that. It was a career decision changer in the fresh works of the video platform of the internet. So it was bound to happen.
There's one statement that everyone's heard on this panel that describes the situation that Paul, I think, did a good job of explaining. And here it is. What difference does it make if the Earth is flat? That they've already checked out when they say that. The minute they say that, they've checked out because they don't want to deal with it, Spurs. That's the difference. We did.
Yeah, if you ever want to hear this summarised by a globehead, go to Haunted House channel and watch Conspiracy Cat's interview with Jonathan. And he explained, he hinted at it last time he was on, I think he was on Jose's channel, and I did tune in and watch, and he said it again, which is to say that it terrifies him, the idea of contemplation of the massive scale lie that you'd have to accept if you accepted that the Earth isn't as they've presented it. If they can lie to you on that enormous scale, then there's many, many, many other things that have to be considered. And that terrifies globeheads. Well, doesn't terrify me. Terrifies them.
Oh, by the way, I have to correct a mistake. It wasn't YouTube. It wasn't around back then, as Colin Turner reminds me. It was Google Video. And then after that, YouTube came on, and Google then eventually assimilated it.
Anyway.
I find it kind of funny that he claims that it terrifies him, but yet he's in this argument. So it's almost like that's your motivation for trying to defend this globe so hard, because you don't want to admit that it might be a lie. So to me, that just sounds like he's just going to continue to lie and do whatever he has to do to get his narrative to be the one that's the only narrative.
Well,
it just sounds fishy to me.
You lose a lot of sleep doing things like that, and the road that you are on, if you continue, is a road of depression. Well, fair enough. If you want to choose that word, that road rather.
Can I add one other thing? Because one thing me and my wife are talking about this morning, and this is more with a vaccine issue. This road is isolating. If any road you take down the truth movement, it isolates you. And I think if you're not willing to walk that path of loneliness and just pain and ridicule and all that stuff, then you're really not on the road to truth. So. And we're going like, we wish we were more people around us like us, so we can feel, just have some level of community,
The globe. See this? 100% Earth is a sphere.
Bitch.
You're a scumbag.
The Earth is a sphere.
Oh my God, Pete, what are you doing?
The moon proves the globe.
Oh my
What are you doing, Pete?
The globe.
Nathan, do you see this?
Of course I can see. What are you doing?
Proves the globe.
That counts as a bomb bombing.
The moon
It does, yeah.
proves the.
Yeah,
Nathan,
nice.
you might
Very nice.
That is unbelievable.
Oh, prick.
As it's broken up the mood slightly, I'll make a little bit of announcement. So I've changed the scheduling now for Flat Earth Debate to make it a lot more simple. So the amount of time that's actually put down on recording, if you will, stays about the same. But the timetable was quite complex for me to figure out where the best places to put the shows were, which I've now done with a bit of jiggery-pokery, and I can summarise it in a couple of sentences rather than blabbering on and on about where the shows sit at what time. So basically at 2 p.m. UK time, every single day there will be a live show. So every day, including Saturday and Sunday. What actually happens with the Saturday and Sunday show is their reruns of a live show from a month ago. But it means that there is actually published a live show every single day at 2 p.m. And the same goes for the after show. So the after show will now go out again every single day at 10 p.m. UK time. So it's on the proviso that you are subscribed to both channels, because there's a switch halfway through the week between one and the other channel, and that just means I can delay the start of the after shows so that they go out on the alternative channel in the same slot. But ultimately, if you're subscribed to both Nathan Oakley 1980 and Nathan Oakley, there is a live show every single day at 2 p.m. UK time, and there is an after show / uncut show every day at 10 p.m. UK time. So it makes the timetable just that much more simple. And this show today is probably the only one, and tomorrow the only ones that are really affected. So typically I split the show into 2 1-hour sections, whereas from now on what I'm going to do is have one live show which will last the same amount of time as all of them, about an hour, and then the uncut and after show will be a couple of hours. So the amount of time that's actually put down or recorded or broadcast in the end is about the same, but it just means that there's slightly more that goes into the after show on a Tuesday and Wednesday than was the case before, because there was 2 live shows, which there won't be anymore. But just for clarity, there'll be a live show every single day at 2 p.m. UK time, and there'll be an uncut and after show every single day at 10 p.m. UK time, on the proviso that you've subscribed to both Nathan Oakley and Nathan Oakley 1980. So if you're watching this live right now on Nathan Oakley 1980, in the info box below this video there is a link to Nathan Oakley channel. Check it out, go and subscribe, and you'll be then privy to all of the live shows and all of the after shows if you choose to watch them. Support my show, please watch all of them. So yeah, so it's just that little bit less confusing, and it's just taken a little bit of time of me faffing around to actually get it into that position.
Okay, so again,
hold on. Me first. Right? I want to follow that up with, and if you don't have the patience to, you get up early. You don't have the patience to wait until 2 p.m. London time. Then on 2 p.m. Amsterdam time, which happens to be exactly an hour earlier, there's the Flat Earth Early Bird show on my channel, Arwin. So do check that out. I talk about a lot of stuff, including Flat Earth debate-related issues and everything you can think of, pretty much.
Apple eating.
And Jason McCormick wants to be on ban.
He's getting a Lottie treatment. That's what happens.
Can I say something real quick to Nathan? Nathan, I don't know if you saw what that guy was doing, so you might be aware of it. He was showing his butt.
Yeah, I know. I've got to edit that out now. What a pain in the ass.
I know. Let's make sure you saw it.
Yeah, yes, I did see. Thank you very much.
Nathan, I think I'm on now if you want to talk to a Glober.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, excellent.
Well, can I do my little presentation? It's only one
Yeah, I've been waiting a very long time. Go ahead, Ramsey.
In like
yes.
half an hour.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, excuse the wonky horizon. This was like number 43 video. So I think it was, I'd only had the camera maybe a few days, 2 or 3 days, and I drove over to Barrow, and I was just looking through this, the early stuff. And obviously I'm filming Blackpool Tower. Now, I don't move the camera tripod or anything. Everything's just recorded one after the other. So this was the state of Blackpool Tower on video 43. And what you'll see underneath is, in this location, there should be the Tower Ballroom. So you should be able to see the Tower Ballroom. But what we've got this inferior Mirage running through. Can you see? It's about roughly where my cursor is right now. I'm going to show you on the previous video. I'll just pause it there. Maybe bring it up to where the tower's in view. So I've not moved the camera or the tripod or position or anything. And look what we see. It fluctuates so quickly. We'll actually be able to see the windows inside the Tower Ballroom because the inferior Mirage has dropped so slightly. Proving that the inferior Mirage again hides things, and this building itself is 120 feet tall.
Well,
cool stuff, eh?
It's a floating city.
Great observation.
It's a city in the clouds.
So if you take the comparison from that, what you see in there, to the next one, look at that.
Wow.
It's all blocked.
What's the distance again, Ranty?
Oh, this is a long way. This is hang on. Let me have a quick look on Google Earth. This was quite the distance actually. This is off the beach as well. I mean, obviously it's flat Earth proof. We all know that anyway. But I was just showing it you for the sake of the inferior Mirage. So there's Blackpool Tower, and if I pop that there, put a little line in, and we'll just see how far away it was. So it was over the sands here. So it was some. Where it was down this part here. There we go. So about 17 miles, give or take.
Okay. About 266 foot drop or 250 foot drop.
250 foot drop. Doesn't look like. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's 240 foot missing to me.
25 floors.
Because
Nathan, I'm going to come back tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.
This
Bye.
tower ballroom is only 120 feet tall. That top part of it there is 120 feet above sea level. Well, above the road, and it's 8 meters above sea level. So we're looking around about 150 foot high there. And there's the windows of the tower ballroom. So how many feet should have been missing? 250?
250.
So half of the tower should have been gone.
Yep.
Shouldn't be gone. No. The model doesn't tell us what should or shouldn't be there. That's a reification fallacy. It doesn't dictate what we should or shouldn't see. According to Ball Earth Maths, which beg the question and hijack perspective, they claim we should not see. It means nothing. Just want to get that in. But excellent presentation, Ranty. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not bothered. To be fair, I'm beyond that point now of saying let's do the curve cuts. I will still do it, obviously, but it doesn't really concern me anymore. My objective is to show what's the reason things appear to be missing. And when you compare these two parts here of the tower ballroom, you can definitely see on one that the tower ballroom is visible, and on the next one it's not. So that's just showing what the inferior Mirage does. It's atmospheric blockage. The fact that it's a great flat Earth proof anyway is just an extra bonus.
Good
stuff.
No worries. I'll show you that tidal ball later as well.
Yeah, we had it on the pre-show. It'd be great if you can get it in while the live show's running. Got about 20 minutes left, hopefully. There was someone on Discord that was quite keen to talk, but said he'll come back tomorrow now. If there's anyone else, Ranty, I've been waiting about 20 minutes to do this presentation.
It only took me 2 minutes to present that.
I know. he made sure that during...
Again, this is what I can't digest, you see. I can and I can't.
Hold on. Ranty, can you go on mute or turn your speakers down, one or the other?
There's a scratching noise, yeah. This is what I have to digest, that we... I mean, this has to be historic. I mean, they will look back at this small group of people who understood where they lived, the shape of the, well, not the 4 dimensions, but, where they lived, where they are. I mean, you guys look at this like it's just a normal thing. People just, regularly figure out these things against the entire body of a consensus or whatever. So how, we were able to cope with knowing this more than all the scientists, I don't see how, we're just like, we're smarter, we're more intelligent. It's this. You don't see this as an historical thing here. You think it's just a regular occurrence.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same question. I don't really know what you're asking.
Oh, this is what we're saying. I'm saying that if we look at the 7 billion people, there are only a handful who understand where we live, science. So we understand science better than the scientists with degrees and PhDs and all of these things. I know they're just labels and things like that, but this is astonishing. Just, how does one digest this?
Easy. Some people see it, some people don't.
Narrow is the way and few that find it.
See it.
I'm not into the motives as to why they don't want to see what I see, but they don't. So why am I going to
this would be interesting for other people because they'd want to know. Like I say,
no, if they wanted to know, they would do what we did, which is investigate.
But I think it's more of taking the leap of faith before. I suppose it's like, taking the leap of faith before anyone else. Like they would probably want to know how were you able to make a decision when.
What leap?
No.
This will be historic. I know you guys are in the moment and think, it's no big deal.
It's not a leap of faith, it's a risk. It's just a calculated risk that has drastic impact and that will have massive peer pressure that you're not used to if you're on that other side. And you've been trained to respond to that. So it's just a huge, hard decision, and you have to have proper motivation and prospects, an outlook in order to make that a real decision. Otherwise, you're going to be crawling back as soon as you are confronted with all the effects of it.
Mm-hmm.
And some people stumble into this and just start to talk about flat Earth to everyone, and then they find out, like, oh shit, for some weird reason, they really hate you now.
This small corner
That happened
here,
to me. That happened to me.
this small corner, Arwen,
Long
is about to dictate to the world what is education on how to do science. You know, again, this is a huge thing here. The whole world is relying on, you know, us and, you know, the people who dare to provide them with answers. You know, we're nonchalantly saying, yeah, scientists have got it wrong. You know, all these people are idiots. We understand it just like that. It's so easy. But for all of these other people, it's like, well, how are you doing this? What are you seeing? And you guys are just saying the same thing. We just see it. They're just not seeing what we see. Again, this is very interesting for people on the other side.
They see what we see. They just don't respond the way we respond.
There's something I was thinking of while you guys were talking, or Spurs was talking. You know, there's this idea. You know, we all appeal to authority. Like, you know, we all done it at some level. Well, the doctor said, the scientist said, the teacher said, the priest said. Well, what if you yourself become the authority? You know, and not having to depend upon someone else. Like you, Spurs, you said it. The world is out there waiting and depending upon us. So they're going to look to us as the authority at some level. That's what you're saying. But that's the problem. That's the absolute problem. Instead of us coming to the truth on our own, and I'm not a doctor, but you know what? I can read a textbook and I can understand and gain the knowledge of a doctor if I'm willing to put the time and energy into it. So I don't have to depend upon a doctor to tell me what to say. You know, I can read the Bible for myself instead of trusting the priest to tell me what the Bible says.
Right.
I can understand the nature of this world if I just go out myself and understand it and try to investigate it. Then I become the authority. Then I'll have to speak from something else. But see, that's that cost again. All that takes time, energy, and responsibility. And I think but people aren't willing to do that. So we got to get away from this saying, well, we're this small little panel here trying to figure out the nature of our world. No, everybody needs to get out and figure out the nature of the world on their own. That's the problem to me.
Good answer. Yeah. That has been the message, but, you know, they just refuse to do it. It's just something they just refuse to do. There's like a fear of actually making a real measurement, a fear of actually making a real, you know, observation and then experimenting or something like this. So theirs to do, and I think, you know, that's what we do. And they, for some reason, but for me, I'm looking at the historical aspect of this. You know, 100 years time, they'll look back and
hug a
say,
baller.
Sorry?
Right? Hashtag hug a baller.
Yeah, they're going to need it. They're going to need it. I mean, you know,
Hashtag same team.
This court case, you know, they're looking for holes in this case by saying, oh, well, you know, this wasn't a real case. This was a hoax. It's not a real judge. You know, they're looking for all kinds of problems to say why this case wasn't real. So if a judge is ruling there is no curvature, what more? If a judge says it, I was saying to them, anything the ballers say, they take to a judge, he would throw it out. And they're like, well, you know, they were saying this guy got it wrong. So I said, well, what would you present to the judge? Oh, well, I would present NASA. I'd present a picture. I was like, well, how would you verify NASA's pictures? Oh, then, you know, so that's a question I will be asking future ball earthers, is that if they were in front of the judge, what would they present? Things like that.
We've got Maladjusted in the chat who says that he's talking to Dabbing Good, but he basically says that Dabbing Good can't explain Coriolis. Does anybody have a opinion on that?
Yeah, just hold up. We're going to be going over that this week in Ballbusters. It'll be the flat Earth proofs for about the 30th time, since all we do is deny the globe. So, Ballbusters Saturday, flat Earth proofs. Be there.
8 p.m.
Not
UK
evidence,
time.
John. Proof.
8 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Central. Be here.
Proof is evidence, for crying out loud.
So, Ballbusters, be here or be sphere. 8 p.m. UK Saturday, 2 p.m. Central.
So you're asking Spurs, what are they going to present?
You
to
know,
the
I'm
court?
just saying that you said proof, and you know the ball earthers are like, you can't prove anything. Science doesn't prove things. So I'm not saying that that's what they would say. I'm trying to get ahead of steam and trying to figure out, you know, the response in terms of what they would say with proof. What is proof? How do we prove things to be true, and so on and so forth? So is it evidence? You're saying it's the same thing. We can explore those things. Or you can just tell me what it is.
Have you ever? You need to take a class with the words over top concise.
Right.
That's some free advice. Okay,
Sure.
concise. First of all, science does prove things. That's why they do science.
Okay.
And proof and evidence are synonymous. They're the same thing.
So you hear that,
That's my
ball
answer
earthers.
to that.
Don't
I'm
come
going
back.
and hold on.
Okay.
You asked for some court cases. We'll get to that. Nathan, how long you got left?
10 minutes.
You got 10 minutes?
10 minutes. Are we doing an after show, though?
Can I just get in here and say that's why ballers hang their hats on that science, because it's what they think they have.
Yeah, they say science because it's a magical word that greases the skids of their pseudoscience claims. They simultaneously will declare that science itself proves nothing, which it absolutely does. Because if they need to change their just so story at a later date, i.e. their pseudoscience just so story claimed to be science, then they must declare that science doesn't prove things, otherwise their pseudoscience declarations couldn't be changed at a later date, and they must be when they get debunked or something better comes along.
Yeah, there's a few. I'll tell you what. Over the past 4 days, I've witnessed just astonishingly stupid arguments and gestures. I don't know what to say. I never thought some of these things that I've heard would be breached. But I'll tell you what, hold their beer, because they're raising the bar. I never thought that, and I don't know about for you, but for me, the most incredibly stupid gesture that I've seen was Red's Pretendrix tilted shelf. I mean, I thought that was number one, that was going to stay number one, and no one would even attempt to get close. But I have a contender. If you guys want to see it.
See it? Yeah? You want to do
you guys
things?
want to see it? Here. Let's go ahead and share the screen.
Just give me 30 seconds.
All right. Just tell me when it's up. Before that 30 seconds is up, let's give an honorable dishonorable mention to Sean G. I don't know if you know this clown. He's in the woodshed permanently. So he's pontificating. It's not 8 inches per square mile. It's now 0.67 feet per square mile. That's his court case.
It's amazing. You're presented.
Yeah. So anything on Sean G very quickly?
Sounds like a straw man to me.
Anybody?
Equivocator. Master equivocator.
Equivocator. Now, let me say it again. It's not 8 inches per square mile. It's 0.67 feet per square mile. Any problems with that?
I didn't hear square.
Yeah, as opposed to miles squared, but this is all nonsense anyway. Yeah.
Where do you get the other about?
You square the mile, but hold on, just around that in case anybody it slipped. You square the mile. That's what you do.
Are those nautical miles or?
It doesn't matter. Let's move on. It does matter, actually. I don't want anyone to give me shit in the comments for that. Yes, okay, it's slightly different. Who cares? It's not the point. Right, you're on. Let's go.
Yeah, it's getting close to the end here.
Is 50 square miles or 50 miles squared? Or is it the same? Sorry.
No worries.
Or is it 50 miles squared?
No, Ranty's got something to add.
Remember with Isa.
We're just rumpusing him for a bit, because I know QE gets a little bit edgy.
I love it. That's why I come on the show. I want it. Where's chocolate?
Where's Chucky? You there, Chuck?
He's on mute.
Oh, he's at
Shocking.
work. So, as always.
Yo.
There he is.
Okay, right. Has everyone got it out their system now? Can you all pop yourselves on mute so I can be assured that you're not going to interrupt this very brief presentation?
Who said it was brief?
I'm just wishful thinking.
Yeah. All right, we good?
Okay, I've put myself on mute.
I think we're good. We're good.
All right, so this is the challenger
Yeah, I'm on
to
mute
Red's.
now.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm on mute as well.
Can everyone? Okay, everyone, just tell us that they're on mute. Okay.
Yeah, look, get it out of your systems.
I'm on mute.
Good. Have you all got it out of your system now? Seriously, because limited time for the live show. I want it to be an hour. Right, go ahead, John.
All right, like I said, this is the challenger to Red's Pretender tilted shelf. If you don't know what I mean, get with me later and I'll show you. So this is a gentleman named Bash Prompt. I don't know. I think I recall him a long time ago, just briefly, but he's just tumbled back onto the scene. And I don't know if you guys can read this. This is what he presented yesterday, the Winter Flat Earth Paradox 101. So let me read this to you without looking at the graphics. Let me just read this to you. How do three observers that should be viewing diametrically opposite to each other on a flat Earth see the exact same star field as one another? Clearly, the South Pole is the central point of the flat Earth. And yet, three diametrically opposite observers in the northern hemisphere can do the same thing and see the same star field. So the North Pole and the South Pole are both the center of the flat Earth. How do you mental gymnastics that without realizing you are an expletive retard? And then the fine print, if you can't read that, I'll let you know what it says. I've asked this of every flat earther I've met for almost half a decade now and had zero responses. So we can go through and tear this up pretty easily.
Let's do it. I don't mind staying on a bit longer to do exactly that. Perfect.
I didn't catch that, Nathan.
I said I don't mind staying on a bit longer. I have had this presented to me on Snack to the Futures channel, and I want to see if you rip it to pieces in the same way I did. So, if anything, if we're going to end up being live a little bit longer than necessary, I'm happy to do so, just to see how you rip this nonsense to pieces.
Well, number one, everyone could see there's one big problem right in the center, right? What is this? If you're presenting this argument to me, this is the AE map. Aren't you assuming something here? Right? Well, this is not my map, number one. Number two, what this crayon muncher did, and I hope everyone could see that he got a graphic or a picture of Starfield, right? So what this idiot did was cut it out and then just place it in his graphic with different orientations to Africa, Australia, and South America on his begging the question little nonsensical flat Earth here. You see what he did, folks? I was shocked, right? But there was a flat earther. He come on. It was like he was, snorting coke. He was like one of the chipmunks, and he was talking real fast. And he said, he offered the question, well, where's the data? Where's the people that were actually on these continents? Where's the GPS data, right? And the video. Here's his comebacks. Which country is fake? Millions of photos of the night sky are available. There are observatories in every one of these countries. There's people in every one of these countries. And finally, This is a thought experiment. That was his defense. I was listening to it late last night, almost speechless on how stupid this is. Now, I don't know if it overtakes Red's Pretendrix tilted shelf, but this guy's a challenger right here. Any comments, quick comments, questions? Do I need to go over anything in here?
No, you ripped it apart the same way I did. So Skyfly Bride presented exactly the same thing. I think it was actually on Hitchhiker's Guide to Earth channel. And I said exactly the same thing. Do you want to show me that happening? Because he had a cartoon picture of 3 people sat on each edge of those continents in the same positions he's got these blue arrows coming from. And he asked the same question, but without the copy and paste Starfield pictures. And I asked the same question, well, do you want to show me that happening then? He was like, well, no, I'm just asking you for an explanation based on this cartoon. I'm like, no, show me it actually being done. Show me that is actually the case. Show me someone at the centre confirming the North Pole. You know, if you haven't actually done this, as your contestant put it, it's a thought experiment. Well, who gives a shit? Secondly, models are pseudoscience. This is a global projection. The azimuthal equidistant projection is a projection of a globe. This isn't my model. I don't have a model. Models are pseudoscience. We don't live on an azimuthal equidistant projection. It's just nonsense. That's the first thing. The second thing is it's not our map. It's a global projection. So people who hold this up as their map, well, you're wrong. I'm sorry. This is a elite global projection. So don't know where you're getting that from. If you want to hold it up as your flat Earth model, you're just wrong. Because number 1, models are pseudoscience. Number 2, this is not a flat Earth model. That's all I've got to say to it. Anybody else on the panel have any address? If not, we'll round out this live show and ask everybody watching in Nathan Oakley to stay tuned.
What about the copied Starfield here?
Oh, that's just a joke.
Well, I actually have something useful to say about it, or at least I think it's useful. It's something that came up in the earlier parts of the debate when we weren't just dealing with the scientific method primarily. And that is that, that issue with how these stars are visible over whatever presumed shape of the Earth that would be flat you're going to have, it remains an issue. And it's one of the issues that a rectangular looping flat Earth model that I basically have been dragging around does actually solve that issue. That one particular issue doesn't mean anything, especially not scientifically, but just want to point that out.
Yeah, thanks for that. Let's just stick with this.
You're welcome.
So let's go with another one. Diametrically opposed observers. Are these diametrically opposed?
No,
is this observer
no.
diametrically opposed to this observer?
No, but also, they're assuming that is the actual geographical locations.
Right.
But no,
right.
They're
I'm not dealing with that. I'm just,
no, they're
just
not.
The diametrically, just the diametrically opposed statement.
Not even on that model. No.
And what is this with the North? And yet 3 diametrically, there it is again, opposite observers in the Northern Hemisphere can do the same thing? So people in the Northern Hemisphere could see this same star field right here? Really? The diametrically opposed ones. I mean, you got to be some type of retard to put this, you actually made this, right? And then presented it. Now, to make it's one thing. To actually present this to the public, that's quite another.
The other thing is the polished up version that Anthony has used of the same thing would be the same argument, but the antithesis, if you know what I mean. In other words, he's saying, can you show me this happening? That's what Anthony used to ask with a similar example, right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
They're like, that's how I remembered that was my debunking, because I was like, hang on a second, this is what Anthony puts forward and asks them to actually show it. Here I'm being presented it back like it's some sort of flat earth debunking. I'm like, well, can you show that happening? Has it actually been done? I know, thought experiment, right? Oh, right. That's nice.
Thought experiment. I lost it. And should we tell them what they actually need besides having 3 people on these different continents? Should we tell them what they actually need, or no?
Everything they claim, but list it.
No, I'm not.
Oh, go on.
Just let them go. I need this to run its course.
Oh, you want somebody to actually come and actually present it so you can tell them what you want.
No, I just want to see how far it'll go.
Fair enough. I'll just do a quick shout out before round out and ask everyone to stay tuned on the premiering stream. So, Retro Bill, shout out for the super chat. He says 4 more hours, 4 more hours. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. So with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who have tuned in on Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, as there will be an after show to follow. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel, and of course a massive thank you to all of you who tuned in. Hopefully you liked, commented, shared, subscribed, smashed the super chat and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
With Nathan's until Nathan gets back.
Right, okay.
You what now?
QE, is he still there?
Everyone's
The
still
Razor
here.
Quantum?
Everyone's still here.
No, Quantum Eraser. John, is he there?
He is, yeah.
No.
Where? Yes, you are. I was going to
He's
say,
not here.
if you think that's the most retarded thing that anybody's ever done, including Red's Rhetoric, you want to look at what he did about the squishing. You've seen the squish, haven't you?
No, I haven't witnessed the squish yet.
You haven't seen the squish.
Jaron clocked this. So I remember this was great. So Ranty presented it to me and he got in touch and he was like a little schoolboy. He was so excited because they'd basically taken an image and just condensed it down to about 1 inch in width and said, look, there you go, curvature. And obviously it's just presenting the curvature of the lens. And he presented it to me and then presented it to Jaron. And obviously Jaron can't stand Red Rhetoric, so he pounced all over it and exposed this video that Red had immediately taken down from his channel, which he typically does when he said something incredibly stupid, which he had in this instance. And Jaron just did it with a few obviously straight things like his countertop and just, reduced that down by, a factor of 95% to 1 inch across, and it's like, there you go, curved counter. In fact, everything he took a picture of suddenly had a pronounced curve in it. It was great.
No, that's not a contender to the tilted shelf.
Oh, it is. It is.
No way.
No, it is. They sent a drone up to like 500 feet or something. They snapped an image of the horizon with this wide angle camera, and then they brought it back down, this image, and then they squished it from side to side, like closing some curtains, and they squished it. And what do you know? The horizon has a little bit of curve in it, and they go, see? We present the curvature of the Earth.
Wow.
Yeah, I got it. That is stupid, but not that it doesn't come close to the tilted shelf. I'm sorry.
Look, there is no curvature, but you can think of it as if there is curvature. Very simple.
He actually doubled down on this, Nate. He actually did a hangout a few weeks later where I was in the side chat and I asked him about this squishing, and then he presented it again and did it again, and he called it squishing. Delusional.
That doesn't. That's not a challenger to the tilted shelf. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Tell us about the shelf.
Say again.
Tell us about this shelf.
What do you mean, tell us about the shelf? You just said it was a contender and you don't even know what it is.
Well, I've never come across anything as stupid as the drone squishing. So if you've got something that you think's better than that.
Yeah, but you don't even know what it is. How can you say it's better than a tilted shelf?
That's why I'm asking for it.
Well, you did. It's too late to ask for it now. You already said it was stupider than a tilted shelf. Implicitly, implying.
I'm sticking to that claim.
You've already seen it.
It
saw it on the telly.
It's more stupid than the shelf. Yeah, it was on the telly.
I can't believe we're arguing about it. The stupidness of stuff. Do you need? Who doesn't know what Red's Pretendrix tilted shelf is?
I don't know. Please, can you tell us?
You know what? I'd have to go find it. He did it a number of times. You'll have to. I'm not going to go search for it now. I don't know where it is. Give me some time here, maybe tomorrow, next day.
Hey Nathan, a debate special just started up.
Yeah, I started that intentionally.
Okay.
I've had to make the last presentation unlisted while I remove PMAR's asshole from it.
What?
PMAR's came on and mooned the show. Fortunately, they've got a little trick in Hangouts where they can stop you presenting, but I've already overcome that. So fortunately for me, it was only displayed on a tiny little thumbnail, but I'll still edit it out. But presumably what PMAR's intended to do was literally have his hairy asshole spread all over the camera. Just what a wanker.
That was awful.
You're
Yeah, he's a
kidding.
scumbag.
Obviously, that was earlier in the show, right?
Yeah.
I missed that part. God, thank the Lord.
Yeah,
I don't know. To be fair, there was not much to see.
He's
Too
lost
much
his
hair
mind.
in the way.
That's like a new level for
I think he was
PMAR.
trying to make his own black hole image.
It had a bit of tissue paper in it as well.
Oh my god.
Can we stop this? Stop. No need, please.
Let's move on. Do we do housekeeping in this section?
No.
Poor P.
This is the after show.
So the debate special,
Don't do housekeeping.
Is going live or something.
I'm trying to get off of PMARS, that's all.
No, PMARS is a victim of not being heard.
Oh, come on.
See?
All right, I'll change the subject. Listen, let's get a count. How many do not know, actually, of Red's Pretendrix tilted shelf?
Me.
I do not know.
That's 3.
Me neither.
I don't know about it. I've never seen it.
I don't know. I'm too busy at work.
I don't know.
Oh.
Nobody knows but John. So,
I don't know, but can I compare it to something?
Go ahead, Tim.
Can I guess?
No, I was just playing off a Ranty saying, "Oh yeah, well, you know, mine beats that," but you've never seen it.
Keep it clean, please. We're still recording.
Just ball trickery, camera trickery.
They've run out of. They can't even go and undo what their own side did to them when their own side said there's no gravity, no force in between the two objects. They can't even undo that. They have to make up other stuff.
Makes sense. You know, they go with no-go zones.
You know what's even a bigger shock now is instead of going to somebody you know and say, "Hey, did you know the Earth was flat?" You go to them and say, "Did you know that science denied gravity?" No, impossible.
Spurs. Is Spurs still here?
It's not on the Hangout. I don't know if he's in one. I don't think it is. No.
All right. I mean, how many times do I have to present where and how science, the scientific method proves things? How many times do I have to present that?
About another 621.
Every time.
Maybe 5 more. You've done it about 5 in like contextualized about that actual subject. I think you've done it about 5 times specifically. So maybe another 5.
Hey, John, were you in the military, right?
Yes.
Oh. Don't you remember what they taught you about repeat in training?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Just repeat.
Yeah, but that was how to set up and fire complex weapon systems.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Mental complex weapon systems to do with reality.
Yeah, you're annihilating them with your complex belly laughing weapon system.
Complex belly laughers. They weren't belly laughers.
John, I think it's one of the best things you do is to teach what the actual scientific method is, because it just destroys whatever they're going to say once you put it out there as the real definition of it. They can't play their game. And if I was a new listener to the show, I'd say, well, that makes sense. I mean, science has to be narrow. I mean, You can't be biased. So I think you ought to do it all the time. Pour salt in their wound.
You know, I thought I had that in my liked videos, the Reds Pretenderic tilted shelf, but I don't see it. I'm gonna have to go search for this thing, man. Oh man. No, it's not here.
He might have deleted it. If it's, have you got it off someone else's or his channel? Because if it's on his, he may well have removed it.
I don't know where it is. I don't know whether it no, because I'm not subscribed to that Crayon Muncher. So it had to be somebody else. So I got to go search for it. It'll be a mission this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have another one. Is Anthony still here?
Yeah, Anthony's still here.
I haven't heard him in a while. He's been real quiet.
He was on yesterday.
Was he?
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Anthony!
I'm mute.
You'll be watching the Flat Earth special that I've put up while I edit the other one.
So, have you guys heard? You guys were talking about conspiracy cats, right?
No, I haven't heard. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, have you heard that now the news story is that Anthony actually failed the physics test, and the full video of him tinkering, making it come out that Anthony passed because conspiracy cats didn't want to be a bad guy, and he didn't want to make Anthony look bad. So he sort of made him pass, but that's not the real story. Now he's actually failed, and the actual video of this is going to be given to one of Katz's friends. So this is going to hit the wires over the next couple weeks.
Are we gonna have another blow up like non sequitur?
This is just drama, I assume, from conspiracy cats to try and discredit Tony in some way.
Well, let's add some more drama to this. Go ahead and share my screen, Nathan.
Okay, you're up.
Because we have a test with conspiracy cats. He didn't even know it. One, because we wasn't testing him. Say again?
No one said anything.
I'm getting some bad feedback. Hey, can y'all go on mute?
We can't see whatever you're presenting anyway. Just see
I can sort that out. Hold on a second.
And do me a favor. Do me a favor. If you're not speaking, can you go on mute?
Yeah, I will as well.
Yeah.
Just let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm gone on mute now. I'm now on mute.
I'm now on mute.
Okay, everyone can see? Yes, Nathan, we all see really clearly. Thanks for
I'm on mute.
We're on mute.
Yeah, I was on mute. Yeah, I was
We're all on mute.
Just stay on mute. What's your problem?
Right, we're staying on mute.
Let's not make this a running gag, please, for the love of Christ.
I am on mute. Come on, everyone.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Yeah, we went over this. We went over this before, with a special on conspiracy cats. But since he's going to come out with his little remake of the test, I thought I'd present this and see where his physics and science acumen lies, because he didn't actually give Anthony a physics test. It was more a memorize, regurgitate, mathematics maneuver. Well, mathematics isn't physics, and memorize and regurgitate is definitely not science. So conspiracy cats gave us a test. We didn't even test them. He just offered this up. So conspiracy cats, the second law of thermodynamics is about the movement of energy, not the movement of matter. So we appreciate this, conspiracy cats. You know, just hammering the C4 fire, taking that shovel and bashing your own head in with a shovel. We'll take it, right? So what we got here, so just keep this in mind. So number one, from the universe today, as Einstein showed us, light and matter are just aspects of the same thing. Matter is just frozen light, and light is matter on the move. Albert Einstein's most famous equation says that energy and matter are two sides of the same coin. So, conspiracy cats, I know you, this is one of your pseudoscience priests that you adore. Are you throwing Einstein under the bus with this little maneuver up here? I mean, this is a belly laugher, brother. Number two, let's take a look at the definition for entropy. Number two, in classical thermodynamics, this is from the entropysite.org. In classical thermodynamics, it is viewing entropy increase as a measure of the dispersal of energy from localized to spread out at a given temperature. You're good to go right now, conspiracy cats, if we'd stop right here. But the definition continues. In molecular thermodynamics, it is considered the change in a system or surroundings or their total for which there are fewer accessible microstates to one for which there is an increased number of accessible microstates. You know, like gas pressure, highly concentrated, and then allowing the volume to increase, and then the gas molecules spread out to more accessible microstates. I have a question. Are molecules matter? If conspiracy cats would have said water is made of boll weevil silicon salts, it would have been more coherent. And again, from the entropysite.org, gas expansion into a vacuum, mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, effusion, colligative effects, and osmosis, each fundamentally involves a what? An increase in entropy. Due to, we've heard this before, the increased dispersion of energy with no change in total energy in the case of ideal substances due to a greater number of microstates for the particular system involved. I have a question. Is a gas matter?
I can answer on behalf of conspiracy
At any
cats.
pressure, I'm not done yet. At any pressure, ideal gases will spontaneously flow into an evacuated chamber, spreading the energy of their molecular motions over the final larger volume without any change in temperature. Are gases matter? Conspiracy cats would fail 6th grade intro to physics, hands down. This is intro to physics, folks. I'm telling you. If you don't know this, I mean, this is a train wreck. So go ahead and bring up your exam that you gave to Anthony. We're just gonna stick right here. Thanks, Crayon Muncher. Bye now.
Cool, good presentation. I hadn't heard that about Anthony's claimed failure, so I didn't know anything about that whatsoever. But there we go, if you say so.
Well, let me get
any
this
idea
right,
what the
please.
sorry, Ranty, what was the change? Because if it looks bad either way, right? If you're going to claim that someone's
Yeah, of course.
passed
Yeah, because
when they haven't. Go on,
yeah,
Ranty.
can I just say something, Nate?
Go on.
It's like if he's going to change, if he's using Tony as some kind of bait, so saying that he passed, so that then he could get into a dialogue with him or something like this and create, do stuff for his own channel, and then he literally goes back and says, actually, I lied about this. Then that just shows that he has no problem in being dishonest at all. So it's worse for him than it is for Tony. Because it shows that he has no problem in lying to his audience, to lying to everybody. Just to for what? For what reason?
No, I totally agree. That was what I sensed that you were going to say the same thing I was. So yes, I completely agree.
Well, if that's there's nothing new with the Globers. This is exactly what we expect. Conspiracy cats, it's nothing new. It's exactly the way he goes after the work I does and refuses to even utter the words inferior mirage. It's very strange when he's saying that these boats always go over the horizon, but will never address the actual phenomena that's there present. So yeah, in fact, it's better. I wish he will release a video saying that he's set it all up and that he's actually failed, and saying that he was tricking people or whatever, because it would be ideal for me, because I can include that in all my videos about him in the future.
What was your question, Nathan?
No, that was it. I was just going to state the same thing that Ranty was, which is to say that if you've fudged a test result and claimed someone's passed when they've actually failed, and then later just disclose that you've fudged a test result, it's like, well, that looks terrible.
Oh yeah,
He's
I
a
get
teacher.
it. Yep.
Well, being a baller, he might be grading on the curve.
Bum.
No, but it basically puts every
was okay.
single thing that he ever publishes in the future into question and doubt, because you'll never be able to trust a single word he says.
Oh, Nathan, go ahead and share my screen again since Franty's here. I know it's a pain in the butt, but go ahead.
Yeah, you're on.
Franty, we were talking about your photo. Are you seeing this?
No, he's not.
Oh, great.
Yeah, now he is.
Now he is?
Yeah.
Remember this photo, Ranty?
I do.
See, we were on the other day and we were schooling Zanuck. And I brought this photo up and I thought you were in the hangout, but you had left. And the question popped up was, remember the boulder you were talking about that was on the shore? Is it in one of these two photos?
It's in that photo.
It's in here, right?
Yeah.
Can you
go,
point?
Go to keep going to the right. Oh right. So you've not got the proper image, have you?
So this. Hold on a second. Is it on the other photo? This one?
No.
So it's not on either of these.
No.
It's. I did try and explain this at the time. So the still that you've got is taken from a video, and on the far right hand side of this sweep is the clock tower, and then below the RLNI lighthouse is a rock, but it's about, I don't know, the same width again as this image to the right of what you've got in this image.
Oh, it's further this side.
Yes.
Right, I'm gonna put it in the side chat now. You can download the image right now. So.
Can you stick it? Can you give it to him on Skype just to save the faffing around, so I don't have to do anything? If everybody does a little, I don't have to do anything.
I'll have to find your quantum. How do I find you? Is it Quantum Eraser?
On Skype? Just
or Master B.
Put it in Master B, or you could throw it in Master B.
Sure. Okay.
It's on the telly.
It's on the telly.
There you go. So you can.
I'm kind of waiting for a gap to jump in. But Wiggles here. How's everyone doing?
Good, thanks.
Oh no.
There's the image, John. If you want to download that, I'll show you exactly where the boulder is.
A few things I wanted to say, but I'll wait for you guys.
No, that's okay, Wiggles. Hold on.
John, yeah, you really.
I now need to screen share again, don't I, Ranty? So you can show him where it is. Okay, hold on. Okay.
So the building on the far right, the white building on the furthest to the right.
You're at the right.
This one?
You're at the right.
This one?
Yeah.
That one, yeah. So just in front of that building.
Not my other right. This is right from here. That's not my other right. Okay, I got it. This one?
Yes, zoom in.
I don't think I can zoom in on that one too. Wait a second, let me see.
There you go.
That's as far as I can go.
Right. Okay. So so that building, you see, it's got like two legs on the right and one on the left, sort of thing. Well, it's next to the one on the left. It's in front of it.
Is it right here?
Black. Yeah. That's the boulder.
And that's on the shore?
Yep.
Yeah. Got it.
In fact, all of those
Hold on,
buildings
it's
shouldn't
just
be
off
seen.
screen.
Let's just be honest. They shouldn't be seen. Nothing should be seen in this image. Everything that's there isn't real. It's all in Mirage, apparently.
It's just off screen, Nathan. Is
No,
there
I'm just
something I
moving
can
it now.
do
I'm
here?
just resizing it. Just give me 10 more seconds and I'll have it so that the audience can see it.
Okay.
Okay, just point it again. It's good enough. Perfect. Thank you.
Ranty, give the diagnostics, how high the camera, how long the image.
Yeah, it was from 1 foot distances up. The furthest buildings were 18.3 miles away. 18 miles away to the majority of those buildings. 1 foot observation, holding it around my ankles, literally by the waterside. I hadn't actually learned to get down on my belly and do it Tony style at this moment in time. But I learned from this, taking these images, that that's what I needed to do. But yeah, 1 foot, probably a little bit less even, 18 miles plus.
Ranty, do you have a higher elevation picture of the beach right here?
I can show you drone footage. I could probably find some online drone footage of that area.
Right, because I can't remember, was it Zanuck? He was saying he wasn't seeing the beach here, and I'm seeing the beach here.
That's sand dunes. They're the sand dunes that are in the foreground.
Yep.
Those sand dunes in the foreground are around about 13.5 miles away, and the buildings are further behind them.
Right.
Another 4.5 miles or so. And on the right-hand side, that's the town of Barrow Town Centre with a clock face. That's the medical centre that has the medical centre
here.
is the building. Yeah, that's the medical centre. Yeah.
And then the clock tower, right?
Clock tower. Yeah. Shouldn't see that. It's not there really. But
Cool.
You can just
Yeah.
see
If
how
you can
calm
get
the water is.
If you can get a higher elevation picture, I'd like to see a picture of this beach.
Oh yes, I've got higher elevation. Yeah, of course I have. I've got lots
Yeah,
of
with
these.
you, with you at a higher elevation, just so we can see the beachfront.
Oh yeah. Sure, yeah, no worries. 1 sec. I'll just find you on my channel actually, and I'll just take a snapshot.
Yeah, and put it in Master B's. I'll just pull it up.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
Okay, you all done? You all square? Can I stop sharing and?
Oh, I thought we were going to take a look at what the beach looks like. Do a little compare and contrast here.
Yeah, 1 sec. It's going to take a couple of minutes, so if you want to just chat.
Oh, we got some chatters.
Yeah, I'm on mute, so.
Chatter. A few things I wanted to say, but actually, I just noticed though that when you search for Nathan Oakley on YouTube, Wiggles is like the second search term that comes up right after that.
Astonishing.
That's kind of interesting.
I don't know
what
I'm speechless.
But I don't know. I had like over a lot of the shows I've been on, like I've compiled. I was looking like the other day. I found this text file where I compiled like all these responses to things that Nathan has said to me, and then I've been cut off, so I wasn't able to respond and say them.
Oh, sure.
But I don't know. It's like 100 lines of text. I could read some of those.
I can't wait.
So, just out of interest,
well, you're kind of slow too.
Do any of them prove your spinning ball religion?
No, they're just responses to things you've said, you've asked me.
Yeah, my question is, do any of the things prove your spinning ball religion? That's the question.
Why do you want me to prove a spinning ball religion to you?
Because presumably these quotes have come out of flat Earth debate, correct?
There you go, John. You've got it.
Wait, one.
In masturbators.
What flat Earth debate is merely a debate of whether the Earth is flat or not.
So, do any of these quotes prove your spinning ball religion or not?
Well, Nathan, I can hear the exhaustion in your voice, but because you said spinning ball religion so many times by now, but my religion is not that Earth is a spinning ball. If you'd have to ask me about because you kind of begged the question a little bit there.
Yes or no, man?
But if it's a begged question, I can't answer yes or no to it because then
No, this is not a
imply that
proposition.
his
If
big-
you were a
his big
baller, no,
assumption is
we're
correct.
pretty sure that you're a baller. So
Wiggles, is this just
I was
another
actually a
tired
flat earther
angle
for a
from
couple
one of your
days.
ballers today?
Okay, do you have any evidence for it then? If it's not
Evidence
a
for
religion?
what?
Yeah, my point is,
Evidence
other
for
than
spinning. Well, I mean, like for the spinning, you need some evidence. For the ball thing, you need some evidence. Like when Eratosthenes did his experiment, for example, like they had looked at lunar eclipses for so long. It's like basically what they had the advantage of a distant light source, the sun, shining the shadow of the Earth on the moon, and
How do you know that?
now that's a handful of
well, this is just the
presuppositions
history
right
of
there.
it.
you see, there you go. That would be potentially an interruption point for me. So they assumed Earth was a sphere causing a shadow. That's all presupposition.
No,
isn't it?
they didn't assume Earth was a sphere. They just looked at the shadow cast upon the moon by the Earth.
Yeah, that would be
You
assuming
assume the distance to
Earth.
the light.
Hold on, Arwin. Yeah, that's precisely what I said. They made an assumption that it was a sphere Earth, and it was that sphere Earth that caused the shadow. Are you interrupting me, Wiggles? Seems that way. I hadn't finished my statement. Do you want to put that on your tally of when you've interrupted me, mate? Yeah, the difference being that what I'm saying when you interrupted, because so far no quotes confirming your spinning ball religion, what I've been interrupted saying is that they absolutely, without question, assumed the Earth was a sphere, and that sphere Earth, traversing around a sun at the centre of a heliocentric system, was indeed the cause of that shadow on the moon. That is precisely what they did.
Well, the way I understand it is just they were trying to figure out what the shape was. They didn't know the shape, so they're trying to figure out the shape by looking at its shadow.
Yeah, so they presupposed Earth as a sphere caused that curved shadow. Is that number two? Another demolition of your argument being interrupted by you. Was that number two, Wiggles, or was that someone else?
They didn't assume the shape.
That's not my question. Was that you interrupting me? But that's not my question. Was that you interrupting me? Because again, I point out that absolutely, you're saying they don't know, and yet they come to the conclusion that a sphere Earth caused that curved shadow. That would be a presupposition. That's precisely what I've declared. My question being, was it you that interrupted the end of that demolition of your heliocentric religion? Or was it someone else that interrupted me? My question is directly to Wiggles.
Okay, my interruption.
So it was you. So it was you that interrupted. It was you that interrupted the demolition of your sphere Earth religion and your assertion based on presupposition. So if this was my tally and you were to say, well, was anything in relation to sphere Earth or flat Earth, I'd say yeah. That interruption was me pointing out that it's absolutely a presupposition of your religion of a sphere Earth that caused that curved shadow, and it was interrupted. So that would be twice that you've interrupted a rebuttal that demolishes your sphere religion. Now I'm going to ask the original question. Give me one quote that you claim martyrdom on that proves your spinning ball religion. That's what I want to hear. Next words out of your mouth, Wiggles. Go.
Okay, so what you were asking is impossible. I can't fit all the information that would prove Earth is a spinning ball in a single quote. You can't compact that much information into that short a sentence.
No, I'm asking if any of the examples were akin to a proof of a sphere Earth. In other words, can you pull out where you were actually about to prove the Earth was a sphere, but I interrupted you?
They're not so much proofs as just responses to things that you've said, which I felt were not said.
So you're just being a martyr then? So nothing was any critical nature that was interrupted? You didn't have anything cut off that was going to prove your spinning ball religion? You're just playing a martyr.
I had
Whereas in this very sentence, you're interrupting me pointing that out, aren't you? That's what you've just done. You've
Well,
just
let's
interrupted
give
me,
just,
and
like,
you're
an
interrupting me now. So you've just interrupted me twice in the same sentence, Wiggles. Ball Earth, mute button at play, it seems. Yeah, 2 of those 3 examples, 4 if you include this very sentence, were me taking apart your religion. So critical things that you're interrupting and making sure are interrupted for the audience. Hey, Wiggles, it seems yet again you're projecting. You've interrupted me 4 times in this conversation, and you want to list off the times I've interrupted you with non-critical information that's not pertinent to the debate. You bloody martyr. Like we care.
Oh, you must have saw that comment where I listed the times that you cut me off in one of your shows.
Did you see the responses?
That was a
Nobody
good
gave
comment.
a shit. Nobody cared, did they, Wiggles?
Well, the ballers cared, the flatters didn't. Typical. So it's no surprise.
And what
But,
did they care
I can
about?
read out some of the comments.
And what was their
like,
concern for?
'cause,
I've
for
asked this
example,
already.
there was
You're
a show-
just
I can't
whistling past
remember-
it. You're whistling past it. What was their concern for? Did they feel that somehow I had cut off some incredibly important globe Earth proof? What were their concerns regarding? Because the flat earthers just said, "Who cares?" Yeah. Did they have something important to be critical of that with?
Yeah, the ballers were like, "Oh, you're cutting off Nathan when or Nathan is cutting off Wiggles when Wiggles is trying to make really good points." But the flatters are like, "No, cut off Wiggles. He's an idiot." So that's like there's just 2 different perceptions of these interruptions.
I'll say it again. Cutting off really good points. There you go, interrupting me again. What a shock. So you've stated really good points, and I've asked you, the source of these apparent really good points, what the really good points were, and you haven't given me any. So I'm asking you now what the audience felt with the really good points, and you've just reiterated that they felt really good points were being cut off, even though you can't provide any. See my point?
Well, actually, more so since the points were cut off, they were not even made in the first place. So
Well, you've got
I'm
notes.
here to make them right
You've
now.
got notes! So tell me, what's your spinning ball Earth proof that was cut off? Go!
Okay. All right, let's go. So here's one of them. Towards the end, that guy Sam or whoever, this is the video where like I was talking about Wolfie's experiment where he collected evidence for the spin of the Earth by measuring different weight, by measuring the same weight at different latitudes. So towards the end of that video, that guy Sam or whoever attempted a reasonable refutation of the argument that the measured decrease in weight of an object on the equator is due to the spin. He suggested that the decrease in weight was due to the irregularity tongue twister, of Earth's gravitational field. I looked into the numbers, and I can help you guys do this. You really would have to do this before you start saying Wiggles was slaughtered. That was a comment in the video. And what it is that a 60-kilogram person would only change in weight by 0.6 newtons, worst case, due to the irregularities of the geoid. His weight would change, however, by 2 newtons due to the spin of the Earth in the highest case. So the spin of the Earth changes the weight of a person by more than the irregularities do. So essentially, Earth's spin overpowers the irregularities. So Sam's objection was not entirely valid.
Ooh.
That was one response that I didn't get to make.
So that is
Can you
that
put that on
evidence
the
for the
screen
spinning
so we
ball?
can confirm that you're not adding to your source like you did that one time?
Hold on.
Thank
So-
you.
My source is me, so like it's all this is all right from the source, right?
Oh, right from your brain?
Sorry,
Right
guys.
from
Hold on a
the brain
second.
of Wiggles.
Is that the full claim that you feel is a globe Earth proof of spinning?
Well, that was text line number 105. There are obviously 104 text lines remaining.
Yeah, that wasn't my
Of
question.
responses I haven't
Sorry,
been able
that
to
wasn't
make.
my question. You seem to hear a different question to the one that's being asked.
Oh, yeah.
What was the question I just asked?
I don't know. I was talking. I didn't hear your question.
No shit.
Oh, QE, listen.
No,
Get all the
hold
images
on.
that I've sent you up to now.
Hold on.
If you check, hang on, just one sec. If you check Skype, I've already got an image there. I got in a direct line of sight, went further back, took an observation from about 50 feet, and then I compared them. So you're going to love that image. I just want to get that in case we don't get a chance.
Okay.
Skype now.
So Wiggles is playing martyrdom because he claimed that. Let me get it straight. Wolfie's experiment were the first words used. Was that about the point I interrupted you by chance?
I'm not keeping track of interruptions anymore.
You said you made a note of it. You said you got it written down. 104 to go, you said. So do you want to repeat verbatim how that conversation went, where the interruption came, and if, as I'm questioning, if the interruption came at the point that you claimed you'd got an experiment? Once we've done that and established what the interruption point was and why you were interrupted, we're then going to go through the example in detail to establish your experiment that you've claimed here, now.
I mean, like back then we could like talk about the interruptions and who interrupted who, but that's kind of irrelevant details lost in the sands of time.
No,
right now, the only thing that was really relevant was
it's not lost in the sands of time. Yeah, I'm interrupting you because you're now lying. You've just said you've got a note of it all. You've got it all written down. You've got documents to prove where you were interrupted, you bloody martyr. Now you're saying the information's lost to the sands of time. So have you not got this written down? You're just making this shit off the top of your head.
I didn't put timestamps of where I was interrupted and unable to make points. I just extracted the points themselves that I was not able to make on the show.
Quote precisely what was said now.
Well, precisely what was said was I referred to Wolfie's experiment where he did that.
All right, I referred to Wolfie's experiment. It's not a quote. Do you know what a quote is? Clearly not. We've already established this because you incessantly misquote me and make shit up that I haven't said. So I know for a fact that you won't have a string of 105 quotes at your disposal. You'll just make shit up like you're about to do. You're going to give us the context of what was said. You're not going to give us a quote. You've not got quotes written down. You don't have timestamps to validate anything you claim. You've got your little chuckle and the bullshit you're going to make up off the top of your head. Now, I've heard your claim. 104 to go, my ass. What I heard was Wolfie. What I heard before I get interrupted. What I heard before I get the global mute button used on me was an experiment. So, shit for brains. You're now going to tell us, first and foremost, step one. What was your observed phenomena? We'll write it down, and then we'll go from there. So what was the observed phenomena you, that would be Wiggles, have claimed here today?
My observed phenomenon was the jiggling of light as the YouTube video of Wiggles, or of Wolfie, doing his experiment played for me. That was my observed phenomenon.
Do you want to give us that again a bit more concisely? The observed phenomena.
The observed phenomenon was the jiggling of the electromagnetic field as the computer monitor I was looking at caused ripples in the electromagnetic field due to the pixels varying as I watched Wolfie's video of him doing an experiment.
Sorry, your dependent variable will become your phenomena. That's what we're talking about here. So your phenomena is...
So the dependent is the signals in my rods and cones.
Signals in your rods and cones. What you're saying is the phenomena is light.
Yeah, because I didn't do the experiment Wolfie did. I just watched him do it.
You've claimed it. Now we're getting clarity on what you've claimed. We're going to humiliate you now, Wiggles. That's what's going to happen after you've played Martyrdom for an apparent interruption. Oh, is this the global mute button used again? By Wiggles, it seems. Yeah, it seems so. There's another interruption by Wiggles, and I'm going to continue to be interrupted by Wiggles, it seems. Yeah, we're writing down, I've told you this twice, what you say. We'd like your dependent variable. Natural phenomena observed, please.
Change in weight of a mass.
Change in weight of a mass? What's this jiggling light stimulating Wiggles, rods and cones bullshit then?
How do you see
That's just me watching a YouTube video. That's a fancy way of saying I watched a YouTube video. I'm giving you a flatter, never mind.
All right, sorry, don't mutter and gibber and say never mind. Apparently, this is number one most important interruption when asked for your global religion proof that was interrupted. This is what you've given us. Apparently, there's 105 more. At the first one, you're going to tell us, don't worry about it. Give up. Is that what you're saying? You've given up literally at the first question based on your claim of an experiment, which this absolutely is not.
Let's go for a short one there. Let me look for a short one.
No, we're going with this one. This is number one. What we don't do, Wiggles, here, is let you make a spurious bullshit claim and then move on to it when we rip it to pieces. So you've made a claim. Apparently martyrdom ensued when this experiment wasn't allowed to be aired because, of course, we haven't heard this bullshit about 1,000 times on this show. No. Wiggles came up with a unique globe-spinning proof, and we censored him. Now we're giving you all the time you need to explain it in detail. That's what you're going to do. And when we get to the point that it's utter bullshit, we'll point it out along the way. Okay, Wiggles? Let's not jump to the next one. Let's stick with this. Natural phenomena so far.
All right, let's do it.
Jiggling of light while you use the global mute button. Jiggling of light, question mark, question mark. Stimulating Wiggles rods and cones, question mark, question mark. Now, we've also had a different claim of mass changing when you move position. So, we've got a problem already.
Weight
Wiggles.
of a mass.
Sorry, I was still talking. We've got a problem, Wiggles. Third time you've used the global mute button in this sentence. You're clocking these up. I've got 7 interruptions just on this show so far, Wiggles. You're clocking these? You're writing them down? That's a question. Are you writing these interruptions down, Fundy Globehead?
No.
Get them down, Sunshine. Get a pen. You keep interrupting me, you stupid Fundy. Yep. Yeah? Get them down. Write it down when you keep interrupting me. We've got 2 different phenomena. Neither being phenomena. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Global mute button time. Global mute button time. Yeah. We've got 2 different claims. You've said jiggling of light and mass changing in different locations. So we've already got 2
rods and cones.
Rods and cones, yeah.
Yeah, which one is it? The jiggling of light, stimulating Wiggles, rods and cones. Which one is it? Which one are we going with?
Which one do you want to go with?
Is your example.
Can we change the subject?
You know that was a joke I was just making about me watching a YouTube video, right?
These were
actual
jokes. Okay.
Wiggles, did you see the video I did about you, my friend?
Oh, I'll have to search that up. I'm subscribed to you, Ranty, so I'll have a look.
You didn't have a look? Oh, man, it's great. You put an observation out where you apparently show the curvature of the Earth by not showing...
Oh, yeah, wait a second.
Hold on. So, it's just played martyrdom. Claimed that he's been censored
I
by
thought
me.
you talked about Ranty because I had a video that had a lot
now
of
he's interrupting me again.
I
I don't believe it. Literally mid-sentence, he's talking. Unbelievable global mute button. Literally 4 words into a sentence. Yeah, you've laid a claim that I've censored a globe Earth proof. Now we've come to it, and you don't even know what the phenomena is. You've given us 3 different things. So, Fundy, you're going to apologise for your bullshit? You've claimed you've got 105 interruptions of globe Earth proofs, and what have we actually got? A non-experiment done by Wolfie that you don't even know the phenomena for? Excuse me, how dare you lay these claims at my door, Wiggles, you sack of shit. Yet another false allegation of bullshit without any backing whatsoever, no quotes, no timestamps, just a bullshit claim that we haven't let this non-experiment through. When we actually gave you the time to do it, based on your objection, you went, don't worry about it, and then said it's a joke about watching a YouTube video. Who the hell do you think you are? Do you think you can come here and interrupt these conversations and get your martyrdom played out without us holding you to task on it? There's another interruption. There's yet another interruption. Global mute button time. Excuse me, what the hell are you doing? So now he's going to literally play a guitar over the top of me. The global mute button, yeah? Literally, if I won't let him talk, he'll play the fucking guitar over the top of me. This is your number 1 martyrdom claim that you've been interrupted and censored, and now you're playing the guitar.
He asked me who I thought it was. I think I'm Jimi Hendrix, but no, I can be serious though if you want.
Yeah, do you want to watch my screen?
So were these accusations and claims of censorship by me not serious then?
Well, they were serious, yeah. For example, 102
Excellent.
air particles.
We're on number 1. Excellent. If they were serious,
100.
I'm serious.
Velocity.
I'm serious. If they were serious, these accusations, I want you to go through them in detail. Now I want to know what the observed phenomena I apparently censored was. Tell me what it is. It's on screen waiting for you to tell us. We've got a problem. You've given us 3. Now go through it.
Okay, so 105. The observed phenomenon in that was the Wolfie had a mass, and the mass has a weight due to the force of gravity, and you can measure the weight. And the observed phenomenon was the change in the weight of that mass.
What's the definition of mass?
Wow.
A kilogram.
That seems like a very complex hypothesis.
I won't go there.
Kilogram is a unit of
run
mass.
through it.
Mass is just like the definition is just like stuff.
I'd rather destroy him with his own stuff,
Stuff.
mate. I'd really just.
You're going to have to
love
take it easy on the white paper technical jargon and break it down for us laymen here. Okay, I'm not going to get you.
When
with
you
mass
ask what
because
is
I'm-
mass, like just
I
pick
gotta
up a
get through
rock.
this,
You've picked
so-
up some mass. What else do you want to
Weight of
know?
a mass.
Yeah.
I want to get through this. I won't bog it down with you not being able to define mass. So let's just roll with what you got. Okay, change in the weight of a mass. Okay. What is your independent variable that is the cause of the change in the weight of mass?
Latitude.
So latitude.
By the way, I can't see your screen, but I know exactly that the pink and text thing that you have, so I can imagine it,
You like
but
it?
I can't see it.
Yeah, just imagine it. Oops. I haven't had breakfast this morning.
So you're going to formulate this into a hypothesis, or you're going to ask Wiggles to do it?
I figured I'd do it. Saves time. There you go.
So latitude causes change in the weight of a mass. That's your hypothesis.
That came out pretty good.
What's your null?
Just not really a null here. Like, I guess
There's always a null.
I've been
Sorry,
wondering how to
excuse me?
respond to that question when you guys
maybe
ask
you
what's the
need to
null,
make
and then
this
you guys
number
kinda laugh.
106.
Best
Yeah,
response to
excuse
that
me.
is that
You can make this
one
interruption
scientific
number
method
106 if you like, you bloody martyr. Yeah, there'll definitely be a null. The reason there's a null is because science is empirical. Yep. You will either prove or disprove your hypothesis. Now, if you validate your alternative hypothesis, you invalidate your null. Likewise, if you validate your null, you invalidate your alternative. It's what makes the method empirical. So you saying you don't have a null means you don't have science. So are you going to carry on to play martyr in this regard, Wiggles? Or are you going to get on bended knee and apologise for your incorrect martyrdom claim based on this non-science, pseudoscience claim based on your fundy religion of a sphere Earth that spins?
So I've been working on a response for that sort of question, and where I said like, where you ask me if I have whether I can back up whether I'm doing science or not because I'm not adhered to your method. And my response to that I've come I looked at a bunch of
So you just
I'm getting cut off. I don't like that.
That's
My
nice.
response that I've come up with is that there are multiple methods of science. So if you have one method that you guys kind of like for certain purposes, and I don't adhere to
Multiple
that,
methods,
then that
right?
no, I'm getting cut off. I don't like that. I really don't like that.
Let's
If
get
I
another
am not
method in
using
here.
your method,
Wait
then
a
that does not necessarily mean that what I did is not.
Wait a
science.
second. Let's say this. Let's see this. Let's just train wreck this. First, this isn't a valid null hypothesis. This isn't a valid independent variable. Latitude doesn't cause anything. Show me. Give me the chemical form. Hold on a second. Give me the chemical formula, structure, charge, mass, momentum, or spin, or the millielectron volts, kcals, or kilojoules of a latitude line.
Tell me the 10 to the 9 billionth derivative of sine of x.
Jeez, oh man.
Good try and trying to sound smart, Wiggles.
No, I asked John this in a private message, and he actually
can you please
blocked
give
me.
us what I asked for?
What is the 10 to the 9
Latitude.
billionth derivative of sine of
Okay.
x?
So you're a clown.
Easy question, John. You're a man of
Right.
science.
You're
You should
a
do this.
clown.
It takes 2 seconds.
Certifiable, right?
Latitude
lines.
do you know
Show
the
us a
answer?
latitude line.
Yes or no?
We want to see a latitude line.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. So, Can you show us a photograph of a latitude line, please?
They are not real. They are just convention.
They're not
Like
real.
Southeast
Sorry,
West.
sorry. Bear with me a second.
So
What was the first
your
two
science is
words?
based
Sorry,
on
can you
something
stop
that is-
rumpusing? For the love of God!
Theoretical.
Sorry, Wiggles. Can you just repeat that? Did you say that one of the things in your hypothesis is not real?
Imaginary.
Imaginary.
Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah, I said latitude lines are not drawn on the Earth. They're not real.
Not real. So part of your hypothesis is something not real.
Fairy tale.
The points on the Earth at which latitude lines are drawn are real, but this one wasn't very fun.
Oh,
It
okay.
didn't take
Can you
very
show me a
long.
photograph of the points on the Earth where the latitude lines are drawn, as you just phrased it? Can you show me a photograph of that, please?
Well, I can take an arbitrary photograph, and there might be some metadata for that photograph that shows the latitude and longitude at which the photo was taken.
No. Can you show me a photograph of a latitude line? A photograph of it, because it's a real thing, isn't it?
No, the latitude is
not real.
Imagined. The latitude line is imagined. The point on the Earth's surface is real.
That's lovely. So we're not that interested.
Oh, this is not that fun for one, guys.
Sorry, part of your hypothesis is imaginary, my friend. So I'll ask again. Do you feel that you are justified interrupting me first and foremost? Do you feel justified playing the Martyr in regards to this utter horseshit pseudoscience that you've brought to the table?
So, what are you talking about with martyrs, I guess? Because that's a strange word. I don't know why you're using the word martyr.
Oh, look it up.
Right, can I...
I know what it means. It means like a guy who goes in to commit suicide for some great cause, but why? I'm not really being a martyr here. I'm just having a conversation.
Oh no, I've been censored. The reality of my pseudoscience has been prevented to hear by the public. I'm such a martyr. Yeah, martyr.
The ball model has been destroyed. I must avenge it.
Nathan, can I please have a few minutes with this Wiggles guy? Because I did a video a couple of weeks ago and I've been waiting to speak to him about it.
Hold on a second, Ranty. Are we done with his little adventure into the scientific method? Are we done?
I'd say so.
Why don't you take some data that I collected and calculate the acceleration of a falling particle? That's some really easy science.
We're going to talk about we're going to talk about your data right now. If you want to look at my screen, we're going to talk about it right this minute.
Hey, Ranty, was I done yet? Just wait 1 second.
But you always hog it. I never get a chance to debate.
You always hog it. Listen, one short one, Ranty, and I promise, right to you right after this. He said that this is our scientific method, and there's many different scientific methods. Can you give us one of those scientific methods, please?
There are many. You just kind of create them on the fly,
Benny,
depending on what you're doing.
Oh, so you can make your own.
Okay.
Awesome. Everyone can
I'll
make
do
their
one
own
right now. This
scientific
one
method. That
first.
is so cool.
Before you do, I've just got a quick question, Wiggles. Will this, like the scientific method, be empirical? This method you make up on the fly?
Yep. I'll even send the evidence to you right as I'm doing it.
And it'll be empirical.
Yep.
Oh, you
What's the
bet.
method? What's the method, please? Come on, come.
No!
Ranty's waiting.
You said you'd be quick.
Okay, so the method is I'm going to do what Pythagoras did when he was working out music. So Pythagoras noticed that you could take a bar, like he took bars. You could take a string or something, a taut string, and you can just like vibrate it, and then
we're asking for
frequency.
another scientific method, not an example just yet. We want the scientific method first, and then you can use your example. What's the scientific method, please?
Well, unless he's basically
first,
claiming that was
you observe a phenomenon, and then
so the first one is observe. Hold on, observe a phenomenon. Okay, that's
the same one as yours from there.
Our method,
and then try to figure out if you can change that phenomenon a little bit. The second step. And the third step, I guess, would be try to come up with a formula that predicts the phenomenon given, like, you'll try to create a mathematical equation that relates to measurable quantities by a mathematical formula, and then you see if your mathematical formula fits. That, I guess, that'd be the method Pythagoras used.
Fit. So that's the other scientific method. That's your wiggle. Is this yours?
Oh, I said there's might be thousands. I don't know, like whatever kind of science you're trying to figure out. Like, oh my God, even like there's this guy.
Okay, hold on. Use your example now.
We'll talk about yogic science.
Go ahead. Observe a phenomenon.
So like yoga is even
in your
science.
experimental method. Shut up. We're in your experimental method. We are now ready for your example.
Okay, so I observe a vibrating string. I can see it vibrating. And I can hear it making sound waves.
Okay, you got to try to figure out how you can change that phenomena.
So what I could do is I could vary the length of the string. Oh, I wish I had my Floyd Rose with me, but I actually got like a standard guitar, but I'll show you this trick, right? I can vary the length by doing this, right?
So you're causing that. So you already got the cause. You're causing it.
No, the cause is the change in the length of the string.
Yeah, but aren't you hitting the string? You know, with a pick or your finger? You're stroking the string.
I'm just getting excited, yeah. But the in the experiment, we just
right?
assume that the string has been vibrating forever.
Is your boyfriend going to be jealous?
Man?
Now, come on, let him. This is the Wiggles method. I want to hear about the Wiggles method. Come on.
We just
try to.
Yeah, this was the Wiggles. We just I picked the string, and then the science begins after the string has already reached the steady state.
Oh,
the technical term,
the
right?
science
Steady
hasn't
state,
begun yet.
and steady state.
That's when the science begins.
So the science hasn't begun yet. Now, okay. Wiggles picks the string. Now the science begins.
Yes. Let the science begin. Go.
Okay, you got to conjure an equation to fit that observed phenomenon. Okay, give us the equation. I got it. 0 plus.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
0
yeah.
Come on,
equals.
John. Let Wiggles finish. I
0.
want to hear his method.
Is that the equation?
Come on. I want to know more.
Let me just get a. Oh, okay, yeah, I've got. I don't. Can you hear me right now?
Yes.
Oh, I can.
Please
when I
tell us
changed
more.
windows. Oh, that's good. I thought I had to discard window and focus. So I had
Sorry
to.
about
yeah,
this,
but
Randy.
so the formula is going to be F equals square root of T divided by M divided by L all over 2L. So T is the tension of the string, M is the mass of the string, I think, and then L is the length of the string. Let me just double check what M means exactly.
Cool.
So this is physics.
M is just a string mass. Yeah.
Wait a second. Is this physics? So this is physics. So you're giving us an equation. Mathematics is abstract. Do you understand that, right?
So is physics, actually. Physics is a bit abstract.
So physics, and physics is abstract too. Is that what you're saying? Right? Is that what you're saying? I can't hear you.
Yes, physics is abstract. That's what I'm saying.
So, do you know what the root of physics is? What would you guess that it is?
Not calculator.
Physical. What's the etymology?
Do you know what
I actually don't know that.
Yeah. Can you tell us what abstract means?
It just means having to do with objects that are not tangible.
And physics has to deal with the physical? So how are these two related?
Yeah, you create abstract objects to represent the physical objects.
Oh, you're creating abstract objects. So where's the square root representing your string?
Well, square root is an object in mathematics, and that exists in a set theoretical sense. Because square root is a function, and a
theoretical.
function
We're not
is
working in
a
theoretical.
triple of
This is
sets. The
actual
first set is
physics.
the
Come on, let him
domain.
finish.
The second set is the
Yeah, but Randy's getting
range. Yeah, the
a
range.
little
And then the
pissed
third
over
set
there,
is
so.
the relation between them. Relation is a word that has a mathematical
Yeah,
definition,
sure.
and it is
So,
just a
yeah,
subset of the
I think we're about
of
done
two
here,
sets.
No, I
Mr.
think what
Abstraction.
Wiggles is trying to get to is basically say, yeah, you can definitely use math involving physics.
In physics,
However,
you
with
can't.
physics, there's this thing about it. It has to actually be physical, and the math is only an assistant. It's not actually part of the core
Oh,
function.
it is. Where'd you get that from, Arwen?
Can I ask a
Right?
question?
Oh, isn't it?
No.
Oh, really? So
Yeah, okay.
math can't
Let's
be used
deal.
to
So,
assist in physics?
so let's deal with somebody that knows who what they're talking about.
Oh,
We
really?
got
So how is it
Professor-
then? You
Excuse
say
me,
it right
Arwen.
now. How is it?
Excuse me.
How does it?
Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. So we got Professor Bhaktaraman Balakrishnan, the professor of physics at ITT Madras. Introduction to Quantum Physics, Heisenberg's Uncertainty Principle. And I quote, "That's the whole point about physics. It's not mathematics. So it's not a set of axioms from which you derive results. The rules of the game you prepare to change and subsume in an even broader framework." And the last one. From the chair of physics at Yale, quantum mechanics, physics. It's a theory which is based on experiment. It's not deduced by mathematics. Hello, Wiggles.
Yeah,
you got a problem.
Yeah, hello.
You fall down, go boom, boom.
Yeah, so let me try to emulate Richard Feynman on the quote that physics is not mathematics. Richard Feynman said well, physics
yeah
is only interested in reality, where the mathematician is not concerned about reality. So then, the
That's right.
physicist may go to the math. Oh, wait, I'm telling an awesome story.
Wow.
So the physicist, the
You just
mathematician
train wreck
may
your own position, son.
do mathematics on
Wiggles, do
Euclidean
you read what
spaces
you're going to
of
read before you read it?
dimension.
No,
Yeah,
he doesn't.
maybe this will be a good place to do a ball
I'm gonna
busting
read-
on it.
Christ. Can I
Yes,
ask a question?
hey,
I wanted-
Nathan,
this is
we can move to
Feynman made
Granty
such
because he's waited
awesome
patiently.
point. I wanted.
Yeah,
So-
I'm kind of waiting to speak to this Wiggles guy.
Right.
He's waited patiently, so we can move.
Thank you. Go ahead, Wiggles.
All right.
Wiggles, you put a video out recently, an observation. Can you see my screen right now?
No, he can't. He's in Discord.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but he knows what his own observation is. I'm sure he can play by ear.
Right, he did 3 observation hikes. You went to the top of the hill to the park bench, and then you went down to the shingles. And you was looking
The
across
shingles?
it. Yeah, there's like some
okay.
stones. You know where I'm talking
I
about?
think I might know. Yeah, might have been vantage point A from the intersection between Fowler's Road and Blackstrap Path. That might have been what you're talking about.
Yeah, the midpoint is where you've got some benches that you were sat on. You climbed to the top of the hill and you was trying to see Backloo Island or whatever it's called. You could see it from the top of the hill, but you couldn't see it from the bottom of the hill. So right next to the water. And you said that was a proof of the globe.
Proof of Earth not being flat.
Okay, so in that video, you show 3 separate shots. So 3 points to the horizon where you're looking to try and see this island in the distance. And clearly from the bottom image, from the lowest point, you can't see the island. I'll agree with you on that, yeah? You're aware of that,
Okay,
yeah? Yeah. The problem comes
Yep.
that when we actually look at the image, and obviously this is the image that you present, you do a zoomed in shot with it in a circle. You know, I think you're looking through a telescope or something. And
yeah, I'm using the poor man's P900.
Okay. Well, the problem that you have is that you have a rock in the foreground, and you're looking past that. Let me just get the name of the island. 1 second.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes. Finally,
Wadana?
someone objects with that objection.
So that's Wabana, yeah? So you're looking past, is it Wabana Island or something, or Bell Island?
Yeah, Bell Island.
Yeah, so as you look past Bell Island, you're looking at, well, let me go back to my image. So you're looking past Bell Island, and in the distance, the horizon is higher than the base of Bell Island, right?
Oh, yes, I know this one, yeah.
Oh, you know that one. Okay, so right, yeah. So the distance to Bell Island is 7.3 miles away. The problem you have, clearly, is your observer height. The horizon should be way before the rock. In fact, you shouldn't see the horizon beyond this rock. This rock is far, far too far away. What's your explanation for that?
Yeah, so I actually went to Mick West on the Metabunk with this, and Mick West actually created a temperature profile of the atmosphere for that day to explain why the refraction caused that, like the horizon to be behind the rock.
Right. Okay. So refraction lifted up the water, but it didn't lift up the island in the distance that you were trying to film.
Yeah, and I actually
no. That's literally a very good question, because the horizon should only be about 2.5 miles away from your vantage point. The horizon is beyond 7.3 miles away, so which is 3 times the distance. Why are we not seeing the island then? If the horizon is being lifted up, why is the mountain that you're trying to view in the background not also lifted up?
I brought that exact same contention to Mick West, and I think Mick West kind of didn't really know what I was getting at. I was like, Mick West, your temperature profile is wrong, because I pointed out exactly what you said to me to him, and he just hasn't responded yet. So then I got fed up waiting for Mick to create a temperature profile, and I went and created my own temperature profile that would explain how that little bit of ocean in front would be lifted up, but the distant Backloo Island would not be lifted up. I found the temperature profile of that. I think I even still have that open in Paint right now. And
I don't know. I haven't got words to explain what gibberish.
Hold on a second,
right
Ranty. I'm
now,
sorry
but
to
I'm
interrupt.
interested.
Sorry to interrupt. You say you've created a temperature profile. What does that mean exactly?
Oh, I'll just link it in the Discord.
No, just tell me what that means.
This is temperature. Oh, right. I should define my term. Yeah, a temperature profile just means like on the x-axis you have temperature, and on the x-axis you have temperature, y-axis you have elevation. I think. Let me check. It's just like a profile of like what the temperature is throughout the atmosphere at different heights. Yeah,
Okay.
y-axis is height.
Okay, and how did you gain these measurements?
Y-axis is height.
How did you get the measurements?
Oh no, this is what you kind of work backwards, right? Like you come up with, you've had some observation that contradicts the raw geometry predictions of what you would see on around Earth, and then so you kind of work backwards and try to construct a temperature profile that would have created that refraction.
Sorry. So what you're saying is
like
you
the
have
atmosphere is a
absolutely.
pain.
I was just 2 sentences into the demolition of your assertion that you just made, but of course that means it's time to interrupt. Of course. So what you're saying is, based on your reification of a globe model into reality and what that reification says should or shouldn't be there, you've reverse engineered the conditions that would be necessary for that to be the case based on your reification of a globe model. What my question was what were the measurements that you took?
The measurement is just a photograph.
So none.
A photograph is a measurement.
Excuse me. You're trying to explain the photograph and you're saying the measurement is the photograph. So this is a circular reasoning argument where your fundy belief in the reification of a globe model based on a presupposed radius value and what that model says should or shouldn't be there, you're going to say that the photograph you're comparing to that reification model is also the data that you require when reverse engineering the conditions necessary for this picture to match your reification fallacy. That's circular reasoning. It certainly isn't measurements of the temperature that was occurring every, I don't know, foot between the camera and the observation. So you've taken 0 measurements and are literally reverse engineering the conditions necessary based on your reification of a globe model.
I mean, yeah, you're sort of getting at the idea there. You're getting at the counterintuitive nature of an indirect measurement. Like, and I actually was surprised to learn this, that you can actually, like, if you have a photograph and you have a negative of that photograph, this is according to Alan Watts now, you can take a small corner of that photograph and you can, through some methods, reproduce a little blurrier image, but you can reproduce the whole photograph just from like a little corner of that photograph.
Could not give two shits. My question was about the measurements for the actual atmosphere that you're claiming is doing things, and you're telling me you've taken absolutely no measurements but simply reverse engineered your reification fallacy. That's outrageous.
Well, I took an indirect measurement of the temperature.
You didn't take any measurements. You took no measurements. Stop calling them indirect. You could not tell me the temperature of the sea on that day unless you Google searched it right now. And it absolutely will not match your reverse engineering based on what is required for the picture to match your reification fallacy. So you haven't taken any measurements, indirect or direct. You've assumed the conditions necessary to match your reification fallacy.
I'd like to point out, though, earlier, as you were talking there, I didn't cut you off, but apparently Googling something is taking a measurement. Because you said, like, if I didn't Google the temperature, so I didn't measure it.
No worries. I'm holding a cup of tea. I want you to Google search how hot it is right now and tell me how hot it is. Go.
Probably about 60 degrees Celsius.
You're wrong. Do you know how Googling, Excuse me. You're wrong. Now, do you know how I'm going to measure it?
Okay, how?
With a thermometer. Not a Google search.
Let's find out how close.
Excuse me, I hadn't finished. I'm not going to measure this tea with a Google search. That's incorrect. It won't give me an accurate temperature for the liquid. Now, do you know what will give us an accurate measurement for the liquid on screen now?
Can't see it, but I can imagine a thermometer.
It's your picture, dipshit. My question is, do you know what will give us an accurate measurement for the water in this picture? And I guarantee it ain't a Google search, my friend.
I can't see your screen is the problem.
Yeah, it's just water in your picture that you took of water that you're saying very specifically you know the atmospheric conditions based on your reverse engineering of your reification globe world. Now I'm saying how I'd actually get an accurate measurement for, say, the water comparable to a cup of tea I've just put a thermometer into. Now you can play dumb all you like, Wiggles. I'm going to ask you again how we would get an accurate measurement of the temperature of one specific section of this water. Not every foot, just one little bit of it. Do you know what I'm going to use to get that measurement? Same as my teammate.
You could use a thermometer.
A thermometer. Now I want you to show me where you've put a thermometer in every single foot along this observation so you can accurately tell me what the temperature of the water is. Then I want you to show me your measuring of the air so you can give me differential values between the two, every foot between here and the observation point and observation itself. Now, unless you can do that, I'm not going to accept your reverse engineering of your reification fallacy. That's fundamentalism on steroids. You taking your reification, looking at a picture, seeing it does not match, and then reverse engineering the conditions necessary based on your model. It's absolutely laughable.
It's worse than that, Nate.
Yeah, and I mean, like, you're raising really.
I'll tell you why it's worse. Because
if I was more curious,
what he's saying is
go
that this
out
is
and actually
being
measure the
loomed.
temperature and see if the temperature did confirm what I predicted it would be. That would be a great
did
test
you
of science,
get
and that's part of the
temperatures?
scientific method.
Did you get them for this picture? Did you weigh it out with a thermometer?
I did not.
So shut up. Don't use your fundy globe head mute button on Ranty when he's pointing out some idiocy that you've presented here. Just shut up and tolerate it, you stupid fundy. Yeah? You with your reverse engineering and your reassertions of what you could do in future. Yeah, I'm not interested. You haven't measured jack. You've just expressed your fundamentalist religious belief and reverse engineered a picture based on that belief. You're bloody fundy. Now shut your chops and listen to what Ranty's got to say to you.
So you've had Mick West that's come up with some kind of equation or formula to explain why you're seeing the horizon beyond this rock in the foreground, right? So it's clearly placing the horizon at more than 7.3 miles away, probably closer to 10. In which case, you know, you're trying to say that the conditions were so extreme, the refraction index was so off the chart that it lifted up the horizon far in excess of where it should be. But not only that, it also lifted the rock up because you're seeing the base of it and it's in the water. And yet we're not lifting the mountain up in the background. So the refraction index has then stopped, it's ceased. It's then gone back to normal. So somewhere in between the observation point A and point B, let's get it up on Google Earth. What we've got here is we've got Bell Island. What you're saying is that the refraction index from your point down here, so let's put an arbitrary line in here, was extreme. And then you're saying that the conditions went back to normal between this point here and the island in the background to push the island back down. Is that what you're trying to say? There was two refraction indexes going on.
You said a lot, so I'll try to respond to one of the first things. I'm really bad at keeping track of a list of questions, because I hear one and then my mind just goes like, how am I going to explain this one question? And I kind of don't hear the other questions. That's just a flaw in my psychology. But you said that we were looking at the base of Bell Island. I actually didn't look into whether or not we were seeing the base of Bell Island, but all I care is that when you, even if you just do raw geometric curve calculation, Bell Island is like 7.5 miles away. Bell Island is 211 feet tall. Viewer elevation at the beach is about a couple feet. You plug that into the curve calculator and you get 11 feet obscured. So basically you see all of Bell Island from the beach.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in why the horizon is higher than the base of Bell Island, right? That's all I'm interested in, because the horizon should never, ever be higher than the base of Bell Island. When you can see the base of it and the horizon higher.
Yeah, your point's really clear. He's train wrecked himself. He's saying that according to the geometric mathematics, the base of that should be obscured to the tune of 11 feet according to the geometry. Well, that can't possibly be the case. The horizons are behind it and above it. So obviously it's not being obscured by no leading edge of a reified horizon sphere. Obviously not. So no, it's not hidden by Jack, mate. If it was, it'd be obscured by the leading edge of your sphere, what you claim the horizon is, Fundy.
My gut reaction when I first saw the comment on it, and I pinned the comment on the video, I think it was like, explain this on a Flat Earth number 13. I just pinned the comment that the Flat Earther made because I was like, damn, this is a good point. And my gut reaction to that, the first reaction I made to that was I just checked my other videos and see if the same thing would happen. And I think number 12 I compared, and the horizon was actually in front of Bell Island in that one because I had a really clear day when I did number 12. So the horizon was in front of Bell Island, as you would expect on a globe Earth.
Sorry, what were the temperatures? What were the temperatures for that observation? What did you wade out for that one and get the temperatures of the water and the air for the refractive indexes and the comparison differential values between the two? Did you get those for that observation?
I just took a picture, and I didn't even bother with temperature stuff or refraction. I just took a picture. That's it.
Why? Sorry, you're going to start asserting cause based on a fundamentalist belief based on this picture, and you're telling me that you're only going to take a picture and then assert your fundamentalist religious belief about sphere Earth based on the picture alone?
No, I should, and this is a very good time to bring this up. I was a flat earther for a couple of days, not even joking.
That's not what we're asking. That's not what we're asking. I'm asking why you haven't gone out and got measurements of differential values for refraction, something that can cause sinking and rising of features in the distance, and you're just going to assert that the reason something may have sunk or loomed is because of your fundamentalist religious Earth-based geometry mathematics. Now, if you're not going to account for actual refractive effects by taking measurements of the air temperatures and water temperatures and just brush past it and say, no, it's my fundy belief in Earth curve, we're just going to do what we're doing here, which is point out that, no, there's a multitude of reasons why things can raise and lower in the distance. Tim Osman's got a really long list of them. Now, you don't just get to whistle past every single one of them and assert your fundy belief in Earth curve based on perspective hijacking mathematics. That's not what happens here. You don't just get to assume Earth is a sphere and then reverse engineer what the conditions need to be for it to match your model. Bloody fundy zealot. Do you not understand what's going on here?
What we understand is that when we take observations, especially where the horizon, the perceived horizon is, the atmosphere itself will, for the most part, cause a lowering of the horizon due to the density of the air that you're looking through. And probably these other images that you've taken are on days when that's just normal. What you're seeing here is just another clear day where the atmosphere is just allowing you to see much further along the flat plane. It's just extending further and further. There comes a point where you can no longer see, obviously, but it places the horizon far, far further away than the geometry that you would expect on a globe. And that's the problem. You see, where we can just say, well, it was the atmosphere, just, the atmosphere blockage. You have to come up with some formulas and mathematics. And then, the fact that the island isn't visible in this image is devastating for your claim that the water is being loomed up and the island isn't. Essentially, that's it. Absolutely.
Well, that's a devastating claim. There's a whole Metabunk thread on that, so it's not too hard to find. But Ranty, I was in your position. Like, I used to be a flat earther for a couple days, right? Just like someone said the Earth is flat, I couldn't debunk it right away, so I had to go debunk it myself. But the reason I'm doing all these, like, explain this on a flat Earth, number 1, number 2, number 3, because that's the exact experiment that I did to debunk the idea that the Earth is flat for myself. That's the experiment I did.
All you've done is applied your fundamentalist religious zealotry to it. You've taken a model, reified it into the picture that you've taken without any data about anything that could be causing anything. So all you've done is taken a picture and applied your fundy belief to it. That's not debunking anything, you stupid idiot.
I kind of don't have the energy left for the insults today, Nathan.
You are an idiot. Listen up. Listen up. Listen up, you stupid idiot. If you don't like the insults, don't be an idiot. It is idiotic to take your fundamentalist religious belief in a sphere Earth, based on a presupposed R value, and then apply it to a picture that you have absolutely no information on whatsoever. Now, I've said this 3, 4, 5 times to you, and you're saying, oh, I don't like the insults. No, you are an idiot. You haven't acknowledged a word I've said. Yeah? You've laughed it off, ignored it, whistled past it, and then said it's reasonable to take your fundamentalist religious belief in a sphere Earth and apply it to the picture. No, that's idiotic. That's why I'm calling you an idiot.
Right. It's substantive. It's not just insults. We've drug you around by your short hairs, for the 25th time. Those are assessments from your performance. You get it?
I might be an idiot, I might not be, but I know who I am, and I'm Jimi Hendrix.
No, you're an idiot. What you've done is obfuscated the point with your guitar again, like you did last time when you asserted martyrdom, based on being interrupted with some crucial globe Earth proof that you didn't have. We took it to pieces like we would have taken it to pieces for the 50th time when you presented it last time, but presumably got shut down. We will never know because you don't have any quotes to back your claim when you pull your martyrdom trick. You've just got your guitar. And in this instance, your fundy belief is absolutely ripped to pieces by your own imagery. Ranty has absolutely devastated you. He's also got Mick West in his comments when he points out that conspiracy cats conceding a diffraction limit isn't very conducive to geometric perspective hijacking curve calculations. And there's Mick West in his comments saying we don't need to take into account perspective. Oh really, Mick? This picture's got perspective, you fundy idiot. You're an idiot also, and a fundamentalist religious zealot also, just like Wiggles. Yeah? We do have perspective. It's in the pictures. It's just your geometry calculator has hijacked it, Mick. So when you come on to Ranty's video saying, we don't need perspective, oh really? Well, why is Cats conceding that it's a reason things can disappear then, if you don't need it? Oh, because the bits that disappear are going to get called Earth curve, aren't they, Mick? Yeah, we all know your game.
joke.
You are an idiot, Wiggles. Based on your performance, as just described by Quantum Eraser. Not an ad hominem. Your claim is idiotic. Two so far, both ripped to pieces.
Hey, Ranty, I'm sorry for going down that road, man. You know, I went and made a 4-course breakfast and came back, and Wiggles was still talking.
But let's just clarify this for the. Are you still recording, Nate?
Yeah, he's still on screen.
Yeah, let's just clarify this for the audience. The base of this rock, where the tip of my cursor is right now, is clearly seen in the imagery, right? And the horizon extends beyond that, right? Now, his observer height, he quotes himself as being sea level, and I think he's done that because essentially he's taken into account the swell and the wave heights at that time. But I can't be too sure because I didn't get a chance to answer him. But I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I said, let's put him 2 or 3 meters above sea level. Hell, let's put him 8 meters above sea level. It doesn't matter because the horizon, even at 8 miles, will be, at 7 miles, will be, he would have to have been like 15 meters high, and he clearly wasn't. You can see that in the image here. This is where he took his image from. He's right next to the water, basically. So he's taken the image from here. The horizon should have cut off the bottom of this rock. That's what should have happened from his observer point. He should never have seen this horizon line extend beyond the base of this rock. So by virtue of that, it's placed the horizon at least 7.3 miles away. At least 7.3 miles away. That is impossible on a globe. Absolutely. And it's a slam dunk flat earth proof, I have to say. So they come up with Mick West, oh, it's being loomed up. How can that be refracted and loomed up? And the island that he's trying to see in the background isn't being loomed up. You know?
Yeah, I'll reiterate what I said. If you're going to claim that things are being loomed or synced, then you need to back it. You can't just say it based on a reverse engineering of your own evidence. That's just circular reasoning. But with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who've tuned in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Be sure to check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum at nathanoakley.com, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!